Hi everybody, Renegade 67 and or 8 here with some more Let's Play Stream Blind, the Fate Stay Night of the blind variety. I think I already said blind, I said it twice just so you remember. So last time we died. Saber killed us, and then I spent a little bit getting, redoing some stuff, getting some Saber points, watching some Tiger Dojos. Speaking of which, while I was, yes, Aramorth, it is a good track, while I was skipping back to get to the day 15 where Saber killed me, awkward, I accidentally chose a wrong choice, skipped through it, and wound up on a bad end. So now let's see how we actually get to that bad end without skipping it. Okay, and then we're actually going to do the day 15 thing. I'm not happy about just relying on Saber. We have no choice now. Even though we came out together, I'm just a burden to her. Saber should be able to get through the bone creatures and get to Caster by herself. That's so dumb. I initially, I thought about staying with freaking Ilya in the first place. I would have done it for waifu choice. I would have stayed with Ilya. But for once, I actually did choose to go with Saber because I thought that was the practical thing. Because I thought Ilya was a smart girl and knew how to handle herself. Even though Shiro was like, I'm sure Rin can handle it. I'm like, no, Ilya can handle it. Fuck you, Shiro. Still treating her just like a little sister instead of treating her like the, badass fighter she was. But then again, the reason that he, tried to save her in the first place was because he thought of her as the little sister figure. But I think a person can be two things. Saber, can you do it? Unlike with Ryder, you didn't kill this one off screen. Yes. Then please return to where Rin is. You should be able to hold on for a few minutes with Rin and Ilias feel. Let's not degrade any of the girls. Both of the girls could solo it. Yeah, probably. Just the rando skeletons. But, like, 2 is better than 1. And yet this is somehow still a bad end, though. So I guess me showing up makes it worse? I distract them or something? Let's find out. Alright, I'll be waiting in the living room, Saber. Let's go find out how we die. Looking for death is so fun, Mommy. I'll return quickly. Oh, the blush. But we never meet again. I'd rather get killed by skeletons than you, Saber. As I tried to use the noble phantasm just now, I have no right to say this, but this is your house, Shiro. My house. In the middle of a street. Our house. Yeah, it is my house. You tried to use your noble phantasm. You mean your Excalibur? Yeah, that would have messed up my house. So what are you apologizing? Is that what's happening right now? Oh, shoot. Well, as long as you don't destroy it with Excalibur, I think we're all kosher. I'll not allow them to destroy it any further. Good. Let's go destroy the skeletons then. Spooky, scary skeleton. She jumps out in the yard with light footsteps. Slashing. Saber slashes away the swarming bone creatures without difficulty. Yes. Alright. Let's head back to the living room. If I stay here, I might get surrounded by the bone creatures and trouble Saber. But if I go back there, I'll die. Spoilers. Shiro, what's wrong? Something happened to Saber? You'd never leave her normally. She's your waifu. Yeah, I know. I chose the wrong choice so I could see the bad ending. Duh. No, that's not it. Caster's familiars. They're bone creatures. But there are so many of them. So I decided to come back here so that, that you guys could protect me because it misscared little Shiro and got separated from my Saber. That's not actually what happened, but maybe that'll make them actually protect me and not run me into this bad ending. It seemed like they might overwhelm us in numbers, so Saber went to defeat the Source Caster. It's not a terrible plan, the 3 of us being here fighting off that, and then Saber going to actually confront Caster. It just doesn't work because, Shiro's only at his best when he's Saber-sexual, and Saber's only at her best when she's Shiro-sexual, I guess. So, that their powers combine, but they're not even the ones that beat Caster. Although I guess you could argue that Shiro pulls Saber back because And if he didn't, it would be a bad end, maybe. And it's ultimately Gilly that beats Castor anyway, but semantics. I'd just be holding her back, so we're gonna lock ourselves in here until Saber's done. How you guys doing with the bone skeletons that you've been fighting? I see. Certainly the number of familiars out there is ridiculous. Redonkulous, even. Ilya says we shouldn't worry, but there's a limit even for Saber. Ilya just thinks, we shouldn't worry because... Wait, no, why would she say that if I'm separated from her? I think she'd worry about her Oni-chan and protecting me. But then maybe she thinks I'm so strong for beating Berserker that's why she doesn't have to worry. Yeah. Ilya does tend to be overconfident when she thinks she understands the situation. But if she really knows so much about every servant outside from, the archers, if she knows so much about Castor, I wish she would have given us some intel on her. I feel like maybe that's how we would have theoretically beaten Castor if Gilly hadn't shown up, as if Ilias Field could have been like, hey, this is what Castor's all about. This is how you can beat her. If she's so confident. There's a limit even for Saber, so she went to get the source before she tires, huh? Seems like it. The warriors around this place are moving toward the yard. Seems like Castor's desperate. Cornered by Saber. Or she's desperate because she's cornered by Gilly. No, I don't think she knows he's there. But this is it. Castor won't be able to defeat Saber no matter what. I wonder why you think that. Based on my experience, it looked like Saber was just gonna lose until Gilly showed up. She had some... I don't remember exactly because we skipped this part, but it looked like she had some kind of weird shield thing that Saber couldn't get through. That's why we had to pull her back in the first place. Now, they probably could have done some shonen romance, we'll save the world with our love bullshit and won anyways. But at the moment, it looked like she was on the losing end of things. You're right, the sounds are gone now. That's a false sense of security. I don't feel any hostile presence here. As long as we don't go outside, there's no danger of getting attacked by those bone creatures. Yatta! And if Ilya's words are true, the battle will end soon. Saber won't lose in a one-on-one fight. If that was true, why would Castor have even come here and done this anyway? Obviously he has a plan, you dumb-dumb. Don't be such a dumb-dumb, you dumb-dumb. Why'd you choose this dumb choice that lets you die, dumb-dumb? Gosh! It's almost like I chose it. If they summoned Excalibur with the sheath, I think they could have won. With the sheath? You mean Shiro? Oh, 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 oh. As Saber doesn't need to protect us, she should slash Castor away easily. You look depressed. You seem unhappy even though the battle's almost at an end. Of course he's depressed. A, he wants to be with Saber 24/7. B, he's scared Saber might get hurt. His waifu might get hurt. And C, the closer the battle reaches, the sooner it gets to the end, the sooner Shiro has to stop being Saber's husbando, So, duh. Inner Shiro knows something is wrong. I guess there's an inner Shiro too. I was, talking about Saber sexual, but there's inner Shiro as well, I guess. You too, Tosaka. You look like you don't like this. Now, Tosaka might not like it because she wants to actually be more of an active participant to actually end the Grail War. Though, maybe there's an inner Tosaka too. Maybe they both have inner spirits. I don't think so. I think Shiro's more special, but Yeah, everything's going too well. Yeah, it doesn't make sense that it's going this well. Castor's the one who attacked us. She wouldn't do that without a plan. Exactly. Even if Saber is much stronger than Castor expected, I wonder if Castor would come and attack us without a backup plan. Facing that sheath is not summonable SP Rip. Well, no, because Shiro is the sheath. Weren't you paying attention, Aeromorph? Therefore, Shiro is the summon. If Ilya's a cup, Shiro's a sheath. What happens when you put a sheath and a cup together? Nothing? Ellipses. That's right. Castor came to this mansion willingly. If Caster knew a master was here, Caster should also know which servant is here. Saber, her natural enemy, is here. Oh, that's right. Saber's the natural enemy because Saber's got the frickin' thingamagooger, right? Saber's got the thingamagooger? Yeah. Cancels any magic A rank or below, so Caster'd be good. But Caster also has theoretically S rank magic, so it should be fine. Rin's speed chess instincts coming in handy, I guess. Rin's actually being kind of smart. Shiro, it's his inner evil demon. I see. If Caster comes to attack here in spite of that, that would mean... The sound stopped. Ilya, what happened to Caster's presence? Did Gilly kill her already? It disappeared. The familiars are still there, but the only servant remaining is Saber. Oh, I don't remember very well what the circumstances were during their fight. It did seem like Saber was at a disadvantage, but I didn't understand exactly why. Could it be that Caster has some kind of mind transfer jutsu, where she's able to basically sacrifice herself to steal Saber's body, and now Caster effectively is Saber. And so she's still able to control her skeletons, but she also has the powers of Saber. That might actually be Caster's noble phantasm. And Gil just comes in and kills us all. That'd be funny. But that might be Caster's noble phantasm. I don't remember if they ever gave it to us in the initial timeline. I don't know. I guess we'll find out when I go back to the good ending or whatever. But it might be that Caster's noble phantasm is the ability to steal. It might be a Ginyu change technique. But my guess is that she probably could only do it once. She can like kill herself to steal to take the place of one servant. Probably would be a one-time thing with how powerful that theoretically is. But because if she can keep doing it, she's like the best servant ever. But it seems like that would be theoretically what it is my guess on why she's just disappeared, but the skeletons are still around. The familiars are still there? Shiro, your hand! Oh, is the command spells all gone because Saber isn't really Saber anymore, or at least Saber has no master, or whatever. Or Caster has no master, however it is. Huh? Nani? I look at my left hand. They're gone! What does it mean? Yep. Caster's got some kind of mind swap soul steal jutsu. The proof of the contract, the command spell, has disappeared. Did you use your command spell? Nai. No, I didn't use it. Ellipses. Oh, hey, Saber's gonna kill us in this pathway too, I bet. What's going on? In this case, though, Saber is going to actually be controlled by Caster, I would assume. Or maybe Caster just is Saber at this point. Either it's ultimate mind... It could be ultimate mind control, but I'm more guessing that it's soul stealing. If it was just mind control, I don't think Shiro would lose his command spell. So it's probably soul stealing. Saber should have defeated Caster with no problems. Why did my command spell disappear? After all, Saber's the best servant. No wonder Caster would want to steal her soul. It makes you think why she waited so long. Caster waited so long to do this, but maybe it's because she wanted the field to thin a bit. Basically see who the real best servant is. Like, it's probably Saber, but maybe not. And then, you know, maybe she's been spying on people, and after seeing what happened in the forest, she was like, oh shit, Saber just killed Berserker's 4 lives at once. Or whatever it was. That's OP. That's the servant I want to body steal. That's probably what happened. And then what? Does Gilly still try to hit on Saber, not knowing that it's secretly Caster? Oh, that's funny alternate timelines to think of. No, the disappearance of the command spell doesn't mean the end of the contract, so I shouldn't panic too much. The command spell is there to control disobedient servants. Maybe Caster needs a lot of magical energy to steal soul no jutsu. If it's just a noble phantasm, I mean, obviously noble phantasms still take a lot of juice. But, yeah, Is that what she was doing at the tower, or temple? Is that why she was building so much energy? Possibly. But, is it just that her noble phantasm is so strong she needs to build all that energy? Or was she setting up just a separate spell in the first place? Hard to say. I never needed it with Saber. I mean, you used it twice. What are you talking about? Even if it goes away, Saber and I will do just fine. You might have wanted to save one for when Saber fucking kills you later on, you know, just saying.
Saber,
Saber's coming back. She'll be here soon. Ellipses. Oh god, you're all fucked. What are they doing? This is one of the worst endings. I mean, it's still a female killing me, so, you know, it's always been a female to some extent, I guess. Saber killing me is probably, you know, that's the really shittiest ending. I don't mind that much. Ilya killing me the first time was fine. Ilya, me becoming a familiar was great. Oh, the time after that, the bullshit one, where there was two choices that were basically the same, that's the real worst ending, at least based on the choices. I don't even remember what happened afterwards. I think it was pretty none and done, so not a fan of that one. That might be the real worst one. Then Saber killing me. Ryder killing me was kinky, so I'm kind of okay with that. Anyways. Saber's coming back, so why do they have to be on guard like that? The door opens. Saber enters and... she's faking. She's pretending to be injured. She's gonna pretend like Castor ran away, and then she's gonna kill me. Steps in, holding her chest in pain.
Saber!
I run to her. And she's gonna kill me. Yeah, Rin knows what's up. The skeleton should be fucking gone. Hold on, Shiro! I can't hear Tosaka's warning. Your Saber sexualness has failed you, Shiro! My only concern is Saber in pain. Are you right, Saber? Where? And stab. No, run, Shiro! Saber, stop! And yeah, she's not injured at all. Dash, dash. Yep. I'm cut in two from my shoulder downward in a single blow. The brilliant slash numbs the pain, and that mysterious healing power doesn't work against Saber's sword. Isn't it because Saber, like, ignores magic or something? Or, you know, it's because you're Saber-sexual and you just can't do it against Saber. You can't will yourself against Saber, even though you don't... It's because you don't realize that it's not actually Saber. But even if you did, that would mean Saber, you realize Saber is effectively dead, which would probably also kill your will because of how much of a Saber-sexual you are. Ooh, what you say? My consciousness fades away. Before I die. Eclipsing my fear of death is the question of why Saber killed me. Dead end. Ah. So wait, is it true that there are differences between dead ends and bad ends? Because I feel like every ending I've got since the Saber killing me has been a dead end. But Wise, you told me that before that they were all bad ends. Is that true? Because that's extremely coincidental. Tiger Dojo is a strange hint quarter. If you'd like to beat the game by yourself. This is Tiger Dojo. Take the advice? Obviously. Oh, it's all dark. Is this the first time the Tiger Dojo's been dark? Ellipses. Ellipses. It was very coincidental. Okay. Yeah, it's very coincidental. Because I was starting to think, is Wise screwing with me? Was he wrong? Is it actually all dead ends? Have they all been dead? No. So dead end is when you die. Bad end is just, it's bad. You don't get to see more, but you don't die. So it is very coincidental that I've seen only bad ends and then only dead ends. But anyways. Ellipses. Oh, there was also the bad ending where I fell from the roof and didn't summon Saber, and then just my healing ability just didn't work. That ending wasn't great because Ryder didn't kinkily kill me, so not optimal. Ellipses. Good evening, everyone! Konbanwa! Wait, Didn't Ilya say that? That was definitely Ilya's voice actor. Okay, this is definitely Ilya, not Taiga. So I don't know why they show Taiga in the upper corner of speaking. This is the Q&A session to help Shiro when he dies easily from a simple mistake. The Tiger Dojo! Well, the cause of death this time is, and yeah, Chibi Saber over there in the background being like, I didn't mean to. No, you'll mean to later, Saber. I guess the lesson is that you shouldn't let your guard down no matter how dominant your position is. Yep, Saber does have some of that shonen recklessness. That's one where she's kind of like a shonen protag. You're a master, so you should control Saber's recklessness. That's wrong. Saber's the one at fault this time, right? Yeah, Saber is kinda, but also, you know, Shiro's a bit of a foil to Saber. They do parallel in some ways, but, you know, with Saber always wanting to be gung-ho and always, you know, jump in, Shiro's always the one who's like, no, don't do it, just back up. And they do parallel each other in those ways. You could argue that when Shiro's being gung-ho, Saber's the one's back up. It sort of depends on who's being the gung-hoer. But, like, whoever's being the gung-hoer, they sometimes need the other foil to be like, no, back up. You can't have all gung-ho or all back up. But it's good to have, you know, the balance. That's why they do work good being together, I'd say. And, you know, we can ignore the fact that Shiro's a master and he's in danger because, you know, he's, like, immortal if he's a saber-sexual, at least. Falling for Caster's trap proves that she's not concentrating. I bet she was self-conscious around Shiro and tried to show off, but she ended up killing Shiro herself. Geez, her class has fallen. Saber class, still best class though, right? Hard dirt. Aw, she cries. Oh, Tiger trying to change the subject? And Ilya taking every opportunity to point out the lack of charm. Yes, you must have balance. Always the balance. You must be wise and a fool. Wise fool gets it. They say she's the most powerful, but she hasn't had that many wins. She's also small and lacking in charm as a lady. Yeah, if you look at Saber's track record in this game, it's not great. Like, her biggest achievements are the ones where Shiro pulls out something amazing. When Shiro isn't really helping that much, she usually just gets her butt kicked. She did okay when she almost one-shot Archer, but I'm pretty sure he was caught off guard because he got his memories back in that instant, is my guess. And she was also kind of losing to Lancer too before Lancer was called back, so... probably because Kirei was planning the whole Shiro manipulation, so he was like, wait, Lancer, don't do it. I want my Shiro boy, I want to mold him, especially because, you know... It's interesting that Lancer would have even killed Shiro in the first place, but it's possible Kirei didn't realize that's who the witness was until later. Something like that, maybe. Doesn't she seem like a gluttonous power character? Ilya-chan, stop! No, I like it. Go more, Ilya. The best waifu belittling the forced waifu. Saber-chan regrets this. As a samurai, it's not good to be rubbing salt in the wound. At least this time her mind was controlled. Grumble, grumble. Although you could make an argument that the other case her mind was controlled too, but that time was only controlled with plain, simple charisma, not actual control techniques. I do like that it's playing the, you know, the Saber sad song, you know, kind of to bring home how sad this ending is. It'd be more sad if I hadn't already seen the one where she kills me without a brain control technique. I see, Bushido is all about sympathy and no love. That's why she can't love me. I guess it can't be helped. I'll overlook her clumsiness this time. Spoilers, Elia, spoilers. I mean, I've already seen it, but... But you do have to keep a leash on Saber, because if you don't do that, and the other dead ends... Beg your pardon. I love these Tiger Dojos. They're great. It's worth getting 100%, not just, you know, not so you can say you've done it, but so you can actually experience all the Tiger Dojos. Master, why the corporal punishment? Oh, she's gone. Where'd Saber go? That kind of talk isn't permitted. Spoilers aren't good. And you mustn't anger Saber-chan too much. Oh, that was me. I almost died after making fun of her. And then I actually died. That's one for all the Tiger Dojos, for all the context. She can get scary if she gets really pissed off. Somebody almost died after making fun of her. That was me. I did that. Oh, you mean in day 13, right? Yeah. Although in this timeline, I never actually saw that, right? Unless they remember, because I loaded up a different file. The wrong file. So technically they shouldn't know that I've seen that. So it's like Bizarro World, unless they don't know that I've seen it. That was fun. It was fun. It would have been weird if I had seen this without seeing that. Although it probably would have intrigued my interest. Day 13, what happened on day 13? Is Saber actually hungry again? Hungry for more blood? Because she's actually cast her all along? Tiger Dojo is a crossroad of all timelines. Tiger, did you just hear a growling noise? I don't hear anything. Uh-oh, is it Sabercaster? A rival appears! Rival? Huh? Rider? What is that? Something weird is riding on something weird. Riding? Is it Rider? Rider's dead. Is it? Saber killed them in the Tiger Dojo? Riding on a lion? What the fuck? What was that? Does Caster have like a... does Caster have a pet lion? Or are they just making like a... okay. Caster Saber killed them in the Tiger Dojo. So at this point, that means... Which one was that we just got? Was that only ending 9? I suppose. So ending 6, I don't quite know where that one is. I'm a little confused. 2 and 3, I have a couple guesses where they would be. 10, 11, 12, are they all against Gilly? There might be another one against Caster. There's probably a 10 against Caster. It's like a Pock Dimension, because that art style implies so, yeah. Also the clothes. Alright. Alright, in that case, alright. What we're gonna do is we're gonna load up on day 15, see? We're loading up day 15, see here, see? Now you see here, young missy, when I have a word with you. Okay. 15 day. Will Saber kill us? It's supposed to not be difficult to not be killed. Load. Time to attempt the good ending and hope Saber doesn't kill us again. Yes, you are correct. Utopia. Before that, I do have to take a quick whistle, but I'm not actually going to road up an intermission because I don't want to take 3 minutes. Okay, so, when I wake up, the sun is already way up. So, back on the good, proper ending route. Right, let me check something, shall we? Oh, fuck. Did we just get all that? Oh, because I wasn't I understand. For a second, I was thinking, did they show me the Noble Phantasm because of the bad ending? No, I don't think so. Do we know Noble Phantasm? No, we do not. It's gotta be soul stealing. High-speed divine language A. Allows the activation of magic without connecting the magic circuit or encountering spells. Even great magic can be activated with just a single action. It's a language from the Age of Gods, so many humans cannot pronounce it. Interesting. Okay. Cool beans. So yeah, we're going to skip a little bit. We're going to be a skippity-whippity because I just want to get to the part where we're at the church. At the very least, I'm going to skip all the pre-church malarkey and maybe continue from the church-ish stuff. So let's skip some pre-church malarkey. Let's get to the part where we either die or we don't. I don't want to skip straight to that. You know, we'll do a little bit before that. At the very least, we're going to skip to that church. I go up the hill. The sky is filled. There are a couple choices before that, though. I am a little curious, but let's see. Dash, dash. The church is the only thing at the top of the hill. There's no one in sight, not even the sound of birds. Is it because of the dark sky? It looks more ominous than holy. Metaphorically, it feels like a gallows. Going up the long hill, through the large courtyard, prosecuted before God and falling to hell. Especially if you go down the stairs. I'm assuming if you don't go down the stairs, it's still like... It's a bad end, if not a dead end. Does Kirei catch you anyway? Do you run into Lancer, I wonder? I don't know if there's a choice before the basement. There's at least a choice going down to the basement, because I do remember that choice specifically, that we had to choose to go to the basement. What am I talking about? That's just not just a metaphor. From the beginning, a church is a place where people die. Hospital's a place where they try to prolong life. At the same time, it's also a place where people face death. And hey, they took your friends, Shiro, well, not your friends, but people who survived the fire, their same age, and brought them to the church, and they still died. Yay, connections. Church is the same. In those terms, no place is more death than here. Literally. They've been just cold fasting my collar. I go up the stairs to the church. Go up the stairs before going down the stairs. Came to talk. I enter the chapel. There's no one in here either. How ominous. Is he in the back again? Walking between the chairs, I walk to the altar. Pat, 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 pat. A dry sound echoes through the chapel. It must be designed for echoes, as one person's footsteps fill the room. Are you not here? I call out in a soft voice. It's certainly strange. I should be calling out in a loud voice if I'm calling for someone. I know he's somewhere in the back, so I should be calling out in a loud voice. But you're scared for him to answer, because you already know. You know. I advance, keeping my voice quiet, my footsteps quiet, and suppressing my presence. Is it because the chapel is so magnificent? I feel like as soon as I reveal my presence, something will surround me and cut my head off for disgracing God. I pass through the chapel and get out in the courtyard. Kotomina's room is. I advance with quiet footsteps. The church is complicated, and I don't know where Kotomina's room is. Memory is vague, so I know I won't be able to get there. Dash, dash. And this is where the red voice shows up. Something. Control my breathing. My throat is dry, and it's hard to breathe. Why? Even though the hallway is cool, sweat forms on my brow. You can suppress your presence, Shiro. He can suppress his power level, so that androids don't detect him. Or no, wait, other way around. Wait, I don't know. I stop calling out and examine the surroundings with all my senses. Do I have such? I don't know why. Why I'm walking silently, my heart's beating so fast, why? An ominous feeling in this place. Mr. Stash, the same words repeat in my head. Go back, go back, go back, go back. Kotomini isn't here, so you have anything to do here. Go home since you're by yourself. Your decision is a mistake. Your chill is a mistake. Go back, go back. Go back, this isn't bad. There's nothing bad here. There's nothing here, so go... it's interesting how you'd think he'd be saying this is something bad, so you should turn around. But instead he's like, no, it's not bad. It's because it's not bad that you can afford to just ignore it, because he's always, trying to ignore it, pretend like it's not bad. There's no reason to investigate. As if the part that thinks it's bad doesn't want to run away. He's not a coward. So if he thinks it's bad, he does want to investigate. He does want to help, but he also wants to hope it's not bad because he doesn't want to get involved in the messy situation. So it's interesting. Because you would think he'd be like, it's bad. I should go. I shouldn't get involved. It's bad. But instead, he likes to lie to himself that it's not bad. Because it is interesting. For some people, if you were truly cowardly, then you'd think, oh, it's bad. I should go away. I shouldn't even risk it if it's bad. But he wants it to not be bad even when he thinks it's bad. And because it's not bad, he wants to turn away. He doesn't want to confirm whether it's bad or not. Because if it is bad, he wants to do something. He's just afraid at the idea that it's already too late. That he'll just find out that he failed again. That there was someone to save, but he couldn't save them. I feel sick. I feel nauseous. At times like this, my chill is correct. My sense for danger is good enough for an amateur magus. That's why I can't stop. Suppressing my pounding heart, I look for Kotomina's room. Yeah, I like the red voice for Shiro too in this scene. It's great. And that way I run into the darkness. Underground. I see stairs in the darkness, and a small indent between the walls one would normally miss because the shallows is a narrow staircase. Dash dash. I shouldn't go down there. I'd bet money on it. Kotomine won't be down there. He will be down there. The red voice is telling him he won't be down there. But he is down there. So maybe the red voice isn't necessarily a truth sayer, but just... Or rather, it is the truth. I mean, it's not the truth, but it's more cutting to the heart of the matter, where regular Shiro tries to tiptoe around things. The red voice is like, it cuts to the heart of the matter of what Shiro's really thinking, or what he's hoping. No one will be down there. There can't be down there. There can't be down there. Corpses, yeah. Oh man, this, I didn't understand at first, but yeah. There can't be Sis down there. There can't be Erp down there. RP role-playing. Corpses. It's interesting that some of that text is white. As if that's, there's so much red. There's so much, it's so hard to avoid it. Because, what is it? Because he's been thinking about this Kirai for so long. And, now that it's, such a big deal, so close, I guess. That some of the red starts to seep into his white, where he's like, there can't be Ko down there. You think that would be red text, but it's white, as if he's letting the inner thoughts slip through. He's like, even he can't really ignore this, despite, that's how big it is in his mind, how important it is. I shouldn't go in there. Dash exclamation point. My neck stiffens. Go back home, go downstairs. Save. I am very curious. Where does go back home lead? I am very curious where go back home leads. I don't know if I want to click it now. I think I want to stick with my guns. I'm going to go down the stairs. I think I am predicting an ending coming up very soon. Although, again, maybe I'm underestimating just how soon. I think I'll hit this when we hit the ending, but I definitely do want to see, or rather hit this. I definitely do want to see what Go Back Home leads to, but I think I'll put that off, like, the other choices that I'm kind of curious about the branches for. So for now, we're just going to go down the stairs. No, don't skip. I enter the darkness. It's a room made of stone. The lights aren't on, but the room itself is glowing blue as if it's a living thing. Underground temple. It might be used quite often as the temple isn't dirty with dust or mold. How deep is this? I look up the stairs of descended. How many stairs? How far underground is it? Staircase is built along the wall in an arc. It must trace out a perfect half moon, as I can see the start of the stairs about 10 meters directly. So 10 meters, if you can see where the stairs start, then it can't be that high or low. Dash. Is it because there's no light? The arcing staircase that connects this underground and the outside world reminds me of a centipede crawling through the temple. And I notice the door. Under the stairs, the symbol in front of me, beyond it, the entrance to darkness opens. I approach the darkness as if drawn to it. Drawn to it. Yeah, because the white text was even acknowledging it, I feel like this is why the red text has disappeared, because he's letting the red text just seep into the white text almost. Because it's so major, like, I approach the darkness as if drawn to it. He after putting it off for so long, now that he finally has an excuse to be down these stairs, where he's probably expected some shenanigans have been going on with Kirai for a while. He's probably just, the inner part of him is just like, has come to the outer part. They've sort of met in the middle, and he's just like, at this point, I'm seeing it through. I go through what appears to be an entrance into the place. Is it damp? The floor feels slimy, and it's hard to walk on. It's like the time I cleaned the swimming pool at school. The feeling that bog mosses cover the floor, and the feeling that my legs would rot every time I step in it. I stop. It's because I'm scared by the nasty feeling over the floor. More than that, because I smell an awful stench. Plug my nose in reflex. The smell is momentary but ongoing. It's not the smell of meat, but it's not gunpowder either. Is this formalin? The smell of medicine fills the room. My senses were numbed as soon as I came underground. I don't feel any chills or pressure anymore. But still, my heart beats restlessly and my hands are vermiculating like they're going to crumble into pieces. And the worst thing is, my eyes have gotten used to this darkness. That is a bit weird. Like, I guess if there's some light down there, because if it's pitch black here, I wouldn't be able to see as well, unless he turned the lights on. The darkness fades. A drop falls somewhere. Was that a signal? The things I couldn't see before are engraved into my eyes instantly, and with great detail. It's a living hell. It's somehow familiar. A row of death. Remains are lined up all around me. The smell of medicine covers the smell of death. Oh! Tell myself this isn't happening. I don't want to think that such a thing can happen, but I can't deceive myself. I can tell in a second. Even though there are this many corpses, no one is dead in here. They're alive. They're alive. These things that can only be perceived as corpses, these things that used to have human shape, are still quite alive. Okay. Why are they alive? I look from the laid out body to the next. Every one of them is too deformed. It's too disgusting to even imagine what happened to each of them. It's like sacrilege. They look more like dead trees than corpses. Those who are ground down in the cracks in the floor. Those who have become homes to bugs splattered on the walls. No matter how they came to be that way, they have no limbs remaining, and all of them are worn out like rotten trees. Interesting way to describe it. The tree analogy is still interesting to me, because I would never really think of them as trees, but I guess if, no limbs, ooh, that's really bad. Shiro is, like, unconsciously putting magical energy in his eyes. We know we can enhance his eyesight from how we saw Rin at the very top of the skyscraper near the beginning. Oh, that's a good point. He did, that was weird. Like, how could you possibly ever see that far away? That would make sense. He sometimes does magic without really thinking about it. That's the inner Shiro being like, you should use magic here. Because, yeah, you wouldn't be able to normally see from that far away. So that arguably was already an early hint that some weirdness was going on with Shiro. Dash. I don't even need to know why. Corpses are being eaten by the coffin. I don't know how it works. It's just that the corpses are stuck to the coffin is sucking nutrition, the flow of life. The coffin is sucking up magical energy, not something close to the soul slowly, so not to kill the one it leeches off, it's not to allow them to live. The sound of the wind sounds like sobbing. It seems like screams coming out of the corpses' mouths. Their throats have already decayed, and they cannot let out voices. It has already become just an organ to keep them alive. Such vernacular that you think would be red text. But it's all white now, baby. Still, the corpses are crying out. In an almost inaudible voice, they scream with all their might. It must be the pain and the fear. They continue screaming, unable to stand their form and being eaten alive. Bleh. I hear a sound. The coffin in front of me gasps. And you can decipher it, oozing. Something slimy drops out of the head as if it turns its neck toward me. Dash. The swollen lip moves a little. It speaks in a voice that's not even a voice. And again, the red voice again. Asked me that question. The red voice in this case, it could be actually some crazy, like, that he's actually literally connected spiritually to these people somehow. And that could be connected to his immortality, possibly. I still think that's a definitive possibility. But the red text here could also be that he hears the voice but wants to pretend like he doesn't hear it. And that's why it's red text. Like, more now than ever, he's like, no. I don't know what this is. I don't know what's going on. He knows what's going on, but he wants to pretend he doesn't. Dash. I'm right on the verge of screaming. No, I can't even scream now. Where am I? It doesn't say, and then the text goes from red to white. He's welcoming it all in. He knows he has to face it. Doesn't say it hurts, nor does it ask for help, but it just stays, doesn't understand why it's here. Is that the reason? It was like that before he realized it? He lived normally, went to sleep naturally, and was gasping when he woke up? Sucked by the coffin, rotting away from the ends, unable to move, and can only be believed it's a bad dream. Dash. My heart might break from the scene, from this terrible spectacle, but why? And then the flashback to the hospital. Why do I recognize them? I have never seen them, but I recognize every one of these corpses. This is the first time I've seen them. They're people I shouldn't know, but you know them. They're people unrelated to me, but... that is a good theory. The red text representing stuff Shiro knows, believes, but denies. Why are they... as if knowing me, staring at me? And I have another question. Is it some coincidence, or do the sacrifices have to meet this condition? Why are all the corpses here children of the same age? And then...
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the light just changed. I feel like Kirei turned on a light of some sort, and yet Shiro was able to see without the light. Welcome, Emiyashiro. Suddenly, I'm tapped on the shoulder from behind as if being greeted by a friend. Dash dash, my body freezes at the sudden event and I can't even turn around. Shiro doesn't seem to process the light change, but it's probably because his eyes were already accustomed through magic. I don't even need to turn around to tell who the person behind me is. Kotomine Kirei, the priest of the church, the man who made this hell, and a devil I must not meet more than anything else in this place. Foolish me to prepare food. Unable to welcome you last time, correct? I thought I was telling you names, but we missed each other, correct? I have a deep voice. It's sexy. I can't talk. The priest's hands are heavy on my shoulders. No trespassing. You've trespassed into my place. Now trespass into your soul. Let's ship back to a blank page. The blank page line is interesting still. Might send a relationship back to a blank page, as if that's maybe what he wants. Just the choice of words there, blank page, is interesting. Now that could be his way of setting up that now we have to start over so that I can kill you as master instead of A, or it could just be whatever wordage and he's just using fancy wording. What if the food was him just feeding Shiro the orphans? Oh god! He's eating him and then he's gonna eat me! Oh my god! Kotomine Kirei standing behind me. Maybe that's why he's got some of his immortality juices, because he got it from these guys. Standing behind me with his hand. I don't think Kirei's actually fed him yet, though. He was only planning to. That would have been a great little turn of phrase, though, is, I've already fed you some of them. Now you have them with you forever. Aren't you glad? You get to literally carry them with you, not just metaphorically. Standing behind me with his hands on my shoulder is definitely smiling. Dash, that's why I'm frightened. What is it, Shiro? I'm disappointed. Is it really so outrageous? The priest says inhuman things in a cheerful voice. This man, I feel anything would face with this. I don't even need to sound this outrageous. Simple comparison. Compassion, even. Brothers and sisters, just now. I was mostly interested in what Shiro's inner monologue was going to say up until now. Now that we're getting to actual voices, I'm going to be a little more skippy-dippity. What did you say, sir? You and the corpse fellow mates, whatever means Ubadaba. We survived, am I wrong? I see, that's why I thought I recognized them. This is the continuation of 10 years ago. No, but you said, I've never seen them before, so why do I feel like I know them? It was you, denying again, I think. Continuation. I had spins. Children who lost their homes and parents. They were supposed to be sent to an orphanage to stay there until they found. But I was adopted. Yeah, I avoided thinking about it. The orphanage was a church on the top of the hill. Oh no, I hesitated. I thought it was a bus, so I wanted to meet. I'd be in town. We would meet next day, but dear, I was looking forward to such a meeting. Why have I not met even one of them? Kotomine, you douchebag. You would have been one of them too. Great delivery from the VA. My pulse returns. My frozen body defrosts in an instant. Oh, the laughing you hear in his voice is great. We were united with your brothers and sisters. I wonder if the whole I didn't expect you to be until the final round was more him. Because he's laughing, that's why it sort of feels honest, but he could still just be playing the long con. He's laughing about it, but the idea that I didn't expect you to be the final thing, I think that's half lie, half truth. I think he did stop Lancer and hoped for Shiro to make it this far, but he also probably had multiple plans. Like, if Shiro died along the way, he probably could have, messed with Rin instead. Or, there's a lot of children in this war for him to mentally fuck with, which he seems to, he's great at mentally fucking, and children are ripe to be mentally fucked, so, he probably could have taken it multiple ways, but Shiro's probably his favorite, and what he was hoping for. For the servant. Again, that wording. You? So I'm pretty sure it's still Gilly, and they're trying to hide that plot twist, but I believe I know at least that much, even though I really wasn't expecting, The Lancer definitely threw me. With that word, I break all restraints. I move my body, which had been bound. I fling the hands off my shoulders, throw myself into the priest. For once, oh my god, it's good that you're calling him an oh my. The others, you call fucking your friends oh my, and you're like, what the heck, Shiro? Placing enough distance between us. Maybe he calls them oh my because he doesn't want to get close. Because if he gets close, he might lose them again. He doesn't want to lose people close to him. He doesn't feel he deserves to have people close to him, which is why he always says oh my, so people say distance. Shows a combo of being real close to his nature and also being Kiritsugu's son. A lot of fun for Kirei. Yeah, Kirei probably likes the combo. It's very fun to toy with, I'm sure. Feel powerful shock. And this is a great through line, how the game starts with me getting stabbed by Lancer, and then the pathway seemingly basically ends by me getting stabbed by Lancer. Of course, Saber's the one to kill me, but you know. That's weird. I can't breathe. A sharp horn. The horn. That's strange. How can it but do? And this was the crazy plot twist. Oh, it's weird. It's like, how did they know? Like, they couldn't have known, but it's like, I guess it's not because they knew. But, like, they shouldn't have... were they expecting you to predict that his Gilly was his servant? Maybe they were, and maybe Lancer what? Like, I knew because of Fate Zero, so it doubly threw me. But I think that, even if I didn't, they did set up the idea that Gilly also has Gay Bolg. So maybe they were, because of the way things were going, maybe they did expect you to predict that there was a connection. Like, if he had to have a servant. But I don't know. I feel like the twist hit me harder because I knew of Fate Zero. So I wasn't expecting the other servant twist. A blue steersman is standing piercing my chest. The fact they brought up Gilly also as Gay Bolg, it really just took that to another level. So I was like, oh, it's Gilly with Gay Bolg. They're going to make you think it's actually Lancer. But I'm like, I'm one step ahead because I've seen Fate Zero. But it actually did the reverse. It's a reflection. Lancer stabs Shiro. Saber appears and changes his life, but this time by killing him. Yeah. It's great. A great narrative through line. Lance is pulled out of my chest. Same time, a sharp pain runs through my head. Push on my arms. Can't move. Giwa! The pain in my chest exceeds. I can't pass out. And then we're about to... yeah, this is different. It's a fatal wound. The pain's... it's too real. The real pain is too real. Alright, now let's skip to the part where Saber comes over to me. Nasu future-proofing his work. You did not kill him, right, Lancer? I wonder if that's a genuine question from Kira. I feel like that question makes me question if he knows or if he's just trying to keep Lancer not in the know about what Kira knows. I'm uncertain right now if Kira knows about Shiro's. Based on the fact that Shiro doesn't die despite that wound, and Kira didn't even try to treat him, makes me think Kira knows about Shiro's immortality. It seems like the most likely prediction is that Kira's the one who even set up the circle in the first place for Shiro to be entered into the war. I think that seems like the top theory at the moment, but... it just feels like if... and I suppose if Kira did know about Shiro's immortality, then that would explain why it doesn't kick in here when Saber kills him, because Kira doesn't care about Shiro anymore. The only issue is, why does it stop kicking in some other points? Like, is Kira watching him at all times? That's why it feels inconsistent, because it feels like it's so tied to Saber. That's what makes me think maybe it's not tied to Kira. Maybe it's half tied to Kira, half not. Maybe there is a spirit inside of him, and Kira doesn't know about that, but Kira is doing some kind of connection to keep him alive? Maybe. Hard to say. Makes me think. So this guy, Kuzuki Soichiro, we still have barely seen him in the game, but they went out of the way to give a portrait. There are some random extras that we do not have portraits from. So that makes me question Kuzuki's role now. I was thinking Lancer's Master, but obviously that's not true. So I think that leaves either Caster's Master or Assassin's Master. And what, the other one is Sakura? Because I'm predicting there's some plot twist going on with her, right? That would be one way to fill out all the Master roles. I remember Lancer really did get a shit hand in this role. Yeah. And then what about Issei, though? Because I feel like something's up with him. I don't know how much is up with him, though, because we know, like, 5 of the Masters now, right? Because we know Rin, we know Shinji, we know Shiro, we know Kirei, And we know Ilias feel. Yeah, that only leaves 2. So it's interesting because I feel like, maybe in that case it's Kuzuki and Issei and Sakura. Something's going on with her, but she's not a master. I don't know. Maybe, maybe. Maybe there's something super secret that Shinji doesn't even know about that isn't even necessarily makes him a master. And so that could make Issei and Kuzuki the last 2 masters, while Sakura has some other shenanigans going on. Possibly that may relate to Makiri, given that Makiri was the one who, seemingly set up Shinji in the first place. Maybe? Things to think about. Because I feel like Kuzuki, he could just be important in some... I feel like he's got to be a master with how little we've seen him. Issei, I could still see Issei and Sakura going both ways. I feel like with how little we've seen Kuzuki, I don't know, maybe there is some hidden depth in some other pathway that isn't him being a master, but he feels like a secret plot twist master. He just kind of gives me that feeling. Anyways. Okay. Lance's voice shows no emotion, but I can barely hear it now. Yeah, it seems like Kirei knows about the wound but doesn't care, but he does care. He's happy. Maybe he knows about Shiro's healing abilities somewhat, but isn't the one who actually set them up and doesn't fully understand their parameters. I feel like Kirei might know to an extent what's going on with Shiro, but maybe isn't the one who actually set Shiro up this way, because if he was, I feel like he would have tinkered a little more. I think that's top theory. Maybe Kirei set up the summoning circle because he thought it'd be interesting. Maybe he knows some of the craziness going on with Shiro, but didn't actually set it up itself, and something else set up Shiro's craziness, or Shiro was always, something like that, I think. Kirei definitely knows something about something, because I feel like he definitely wanted Shiro to be alive and did nothing, and then when he was still alive, he was still happy about the chance for that to happen. So I definitely feel he knows something about something about something. Okay. And then, right, Saber to the church, intermission. Oh, we can skip the intermission. Okay, but it hurts. All I can hear is my own breathing now. I might have a fever that could burn ashes. Stop. Something's wrong. It feels like I don't have my brain anymore. Help. My head isn't the only thing that's empty. I don't know where my heart or stomach are either. The nausea is unbearable. I endure the infinite repetition with gritted teeth. Stay conscious. Give it back. Now this is him finally having to face his inner demons. What gargle should gargle? Double could gargle. I won't ask them to stop calling to me. It's just that no matter how much they call, I can't help them. No matter how much they ask, I cannot assent. All I can do is end it for them. I can't take back any sad events or miserable deaths. That's my limit. A superhero only exists to straighten out what's already happened. But that's because you've decided that, Shiro. Denied those words, I'm being cornered. Still don't know if the black text is actually the orphans or it's just Shiro's guilt. I think a black text can be 2 things. When I listen to them, I have no miracle to grant them. If I had the miracle, and that's when he thinks about, the Grail. She's here. Wake up, Emiyashiro. Your servant has arrived. I hear a voice. It's coming from right behind me, but I can't hear what it's saying. Vision is blurry. There's nothing in front of me. All I sense is the voice asking for help, and the figure's already dead. Make a selection before that. Can't hear anything. This man's voice echoes in my head. Your turn. My head is lifted. Man grabs my head and pulls me forward. That lets me feel the man behind me. Oh, the man. Man swallowed black corruption. His heart is black and it seems like he's surrounded by an unknown darkness. With everlasting darkness. The black corruption reaches from the outside world. It's like a chain binding the man. Dash. I don't know what it means. Only one thing is clear. This man, Kotomina Kirei, was just like me. His body has some sort of fatal wound he's compensating for with the unknown something. As I heal using Saber's powers, Kotomina Kirei is maintaining his corpse-like body with the black corruption.
そこまでだ、セイバー。斧が主を救いたいのならば、その剣を収めるがいい。
Lower your sword if you wish to save your master. What's going on? My vision is still blurry and I can't even raise my head.
ランサーも引け。
Partners seeking the Holy Grail after all. Should not kill each other so recklessly. A gloomy laugh. Who is he talking to? I can't hear the voice, but the sound rings through my fainting mind like a bell.
信じたまえ。元より。My
duty is to determine the possessor. That's why I killed one of the masters. Are you saying the Holy Grail is here? Everywhere. I wonder if he's just, what's the term looking? Oh yeah, he's charismaing everyone. Kirei definitely has that 22 at least charisma on his D&T stat page, but, I wonder if he's just, what's the word I'm looking for? Lying. That's not the word, but, making it bigger than, making, it seem, expounding? Maybe expounding works. Expounding the truth. Like, not full-on lying. But what he's saying about this is just to get them enticed to make the choice here and now, instead of waiting until it actually becomes here and now. Because theoretically, we'd need Ilya for the cup, but you know.
無論、サーバントが残り一人にならなければ、いや、私としては気乗りがしないが、お前、よくはね。
It's not. Yeah, Lancer hates the snaky shit. He just wants to fight. A spitting sound. It seems the man's reluctantly agreed. It's true. The Holy Grail will not appear until there's only one left. The vessel in which the Holy Grail appears is a different story. And we already know where that vessel is. You do, I assume. Did you have Ilya picked up for you? Because, I mean, are you having Gilly go get Ilya right now? Is that the idea? And he's going to show up with her any moment once the choice is made and be like, oh yeah, I have her with me right now. That's what Gilly's doing. Dash. Get the Holy Grail, just give me 10 minutes. No, Saber stabs Kirei. That's one way to end it. I mean, really, it's so stupid that it's like, I'll give you the Grail, you just have to kill Shiro. You realize it's just two masters left, you could kill Kirei instead, it'd be the same fucking thing. She fucking kills Shiro because she has to, though, really. I mean, if she's choosing her past after what she just heard, it makes sense in the instance why she did it. But, you know, when you take a step back and actually think, it's pretty fucked up. You could have just killed Kirei. He was right there, too. But then, who are you? I'm just the selector. Okay, here's what Shiro is confronted. My head's grabbed, my body is lifted. It hurts. The wound in my chest opens up. The pain makes my vision go white. Holy Grail only answers those who wish for it. Not as lowly as you. He's not as lowly as you either, Saber. Imagine how Gil could feel knowing him. What do you mean, knowing who? Oh. Oh, you mean who has more charisma, Gil or Kirei? That's why Gil, I think, was so attracted to Kirei in the first place and wanted the Master Switch, because he respected Kirei's high charisma. Of course, Gilly would always think that it's, you know, still kind of lowly compared to Gilly's, but, you know, it's pretty good for a non-Gilly charisma. Really, I think Gilly has, I think Kirai's got better charisma than Gilly, even though Gilly would never say as much. Hold on. What's he saying? Fire 10 years ago has nothing to do with this. It's meaningless.
その傷をさ。
My arc batches. Stop, 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 stop. Everybody died. Oh no. Everyone was dead. I was the only one who was not dead. The house is burned down. And then finally acknowledging the parents. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Pretending that it doesn't hurt. You have to live by pretending it doesn't hurt. High intimidation, but his charm is nowhere near as good. Yeah, he's very good at intimidating. Kiri could be pretty good at intimidating too, but yeah, Gil is probably better at intimidation. That's true. So help, I wanted someone to save me. How could I think that no one was asking for help from me when I could still move? Stop. Yeah, and he was ignoring the help helps. That's the stuff that he knows but ignores. It seems like the red text, that's what that is. Ignored the voices, ignored the screams. Wait, wait, wait. He ignores all the waits. Almost crushed my heart was. Talk like Yoda I am now. Did you know that Yoda's speech was inspired by the way Japanese people speak? As I wish I was alone. I walked this lonely road, the only road I know. I feel like I made that same joke when we were going through this the first time. Did I? I want to say I did. I want to say I did. Hey, hey, it's Fat Albert. Did I make that joke last time too? Give it back. Give it back. Give back the life that should have been... I see. The life that you never should have had in the first place. One of us should have lived instead because you didn't help us. Maybe that's what the give it back significance is. Yeah. I couldn't say with things I couldn't do. Ignores the please. You ignore the please makes sense because you're so blunt all the time. You've never thought it was a mistake. And that's cutting to the heart of the matter. Oh yeah, it's a great whole scene. It is definitely a great whole scene. It seems like a great climax, assuming it's the climax. You know, assuming the fight with Gilgamesh isn't the climax. It's kind of weird that it isn't, but it also fits. That's another reason why Shiro didn't think about his wish for the war, because his wish was already granted in the worst way possible in that fire. He wished to survive, and he did at the cost of so many others. That's true. That was his wish, and he got his wish. He doesn't think he deserves another wish. There's that too, yeah. And then this in red text, because, you know, more than ever, he wants to ignore what Kirei is saying. Yogarbar! Pain. The pain in my chest pulls me back to reality. Whoop, there goes gravity. Limbs are numb, my head is burning, my breathing is ragged. Return it, return it, return it. Their voices are echoing. I throw up blood. Is it because my body is dying? My chest hurts. My chest hurts. My chest hurts. I can't plug even if I try. My head's the babu boo boo. I will keep hurting as long as the memory's there and it'll never heal. And there's a glimpse of Saber. Is it an illusion? I see a figure that should not be here. So I have to bear this. I can't think about wanting to die. If she is here, even in illusion, I have to act like I'm alright. I hear the priest's voice. Painful if it's not healed. So many layers. Ugh. Fade's so many layers. It really does. A lot of the characters are very layered. Shiro especially, very layered. But all the characters, I think, for the most part, seem rather layered. Taiga, from what we see, mostly seems like comic relief. I don't know. She's maybe not the most layered. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Yep, Saber's already contemplating the killing me part. Oh boy, she's ready for it. Is it true? Is that not the only way to save yourself? Redo the incident 10 years ago? Redo myself who survived by not saving anyone? No, more than that. If I could make that incident as if it never happened so no one would be hurt. Why? I shake my head. I reject that vision with my burning head. I spit at my own weakness. Because it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. I hear their voices. My fingers feel the wet floor. Help. They all want to go back to that day. Dash, dash, dash. Yeah, I wanted that too. Though it can't have been as bad as you guys. Even after Kiritsugu adopted me. I went to the burn field often to look at the scenery. I went to the place where nothing remained, opened the door that didn't exist, walked through the hallway that didn't exist, and smiled at my mother who wasn't there anymore. I wanted to return to the days before it happened. I awaited the day when I would awake from this bad dream. That didn't happen, and I accepted reality. But if I could obtain a world where it didn't happen and where nobody got hurt, reality marble, is that going to show up? I don't know, I just remembered the term. It popped into my head. We were talking about it earlier. Anyways, that would certainly be...
さあ、答えよ。
Answer.
お前が望むのならば、
If you wish for it,
聖杯を与えよう。
I shall give you the Holy Grail. The priest with the Holy Grail says so. Does he have it with the Holy Grail? Does he have it in his hand right now? Tiger just need more screen time. Maybe she's got some layers. I wouldn't be surprised. We just haven't peeled at them if that is the case. Return it, return it, return it, return it. I mean, I'm not saying Taiga has no layers, but, like, even she has the, you know, dealing with the differences of being the protective one, but also being the goofball. And there's at least that. And there is some layers there. And there could be more deeper layers that we just haven't peeled away yet. I think the characters in this game are great, definitely. So when I say Taiga's a bit weak, I only mean in comparison to everything else. I don't think she's a bad character. I actually like her character a lot. Even if I think at the moment she's, I don't want to say one note. She's not one note, but she's two note. How about that? Two note as a, two note as an insult, because most characters are at least three note. Yakuza princess after all. I'm sure she has some dark undertones. Yes, we just haven't really been exposed to them yet. And even if we never are, I think it's fine for a character that she's still, it's not like she's not deep at all. For her to be the weakest character would be a compliment, I think. And again, that's not said, you can have one-note characters be interesting. I think there can be some very, she's one of my favorite characters, I would say, despite, you don't have to be deep to be likable. In fact, sometimes too much complexity can start to make you unlikable if it's not handled right, but anyways. If I wish these voices will go away. Orphans like me, if fate had taken a slight turn, I'd be there as well. I don't even need to think about this. I don't need to think about it, so why? And, yeah, there's, Taiga's a static character. That doesn't mean she's bad. Yeah, just because you're static doesn't mean you're bad. You can have, characters that are, very straightforward and not bad. But, also, this is an interesting thing. This line is an interesting thing to point out. Orphans like me, if fate had taken a slight turn, I would be there as well. Yes, Shiro, best girl. Taiga is great. But she's clearly not the best girl if Shiro is. It's an interesting line because it goes into his whole mentality of I shouldn't take things back. Because, if this is what he's thinking about, if he's thinking about the butterfly effect, if fate had taken a slight turn, he would have ended up here. So if he does things, who knows how much butterfly effects could happen and where they'd be now, and it could be much worse. I don't need it. I can't wish for such a thing. I stare straight at the dead corpses, and I reject them. That is my answer. It doesn't matter what the Holy Grail is. I can't wish to regenerate the dead, nor to change the past. You can't redo the past. The dead won't come back. What's done cannot be redone. I can't wish for such a thing. I actually am. Saber killed you and I went back. So, sorry, Shiro, I already broke your rules or whatever. I'm a bad player character, protagonist. My cheeks are hot. Every time I say a miracle is impossible, tears pour out from vexation. I wonder why miracles wishing for such normal happiness are too much for people.
それを可能とするのが聖杯だ。万物すべて
The Holy Grail makes it possible. Everything will be as you wish. The priest says so. But I can't agree. Even if I could redo the past, I must not take back what has already happened. Because if I do that, everything would be a lie. Those tears, those pains, those memories. That cold reality that hurts my heart. All of it. There were people who died in pain. There were people who risked their lives to save others. There were people who mourned for the deaths. But then if everything were taken back and it did not happen, where would all those go? The dead people would not come back. Reality cannot be overturned. To continue on remembering the pain and the weight, isn't that how lost things remain? People will eventually die, and death itself is sad. But pain shouldn't be the only thing that remains. A death is painful, but it also leaves behind bright memories. As I am bound by these people's deaths, am I protected by my memories of Kiritsugu? I believe memories become constraints and change the people living now. Even if they are memories that will eventually be forgotten. This path, I don't believe it's the wrong one. I also like the added touch that Shiro is also crying while saying this. He so badly wants the wish, but he still throws it away. It's a nice dilemma. I like it a lot. But he still sticks by his guns, and I can respect him for that big time. I can understand, wanting to change things and, wanting chaos terrain, as it were. Or, maybe you would think everything will work out. But also, there's merit to the idea that, no, accept what's happened, try to prevent more bad things from happening, but what's happened has happened. If you go back 10 years and change it, what will you have to live out those 10 years again? Do you have to do them over? Would you jump to here? If you jump to the present, no matter what, there's, unpredictables. There's unpredictables even going into the future, but, if all you're doing is constantly going back and changing everything, it does start a bit of a slippery slope. I liked how Dean did this scene too, though it's not that detailed. Oh yeah, Studio Dean. They, I believe, did the original Fate Stay Night anime adaptation before the guys that did Fate Zero also did a Fate Stay Night anime adaptation. But that'll be interesting. I've heard bad things about the original anime adaptation. I don't know, but I might check that out at some point, but of course it wouldn't be till we're fully done with the Fate Stay Night visual novel that I then might watch the animes to be like, that's interesting, cute. I say that, but I still haven't gotten around to watching the frickin' Persona 4 anime. I said I was going to do that after I beat the game, and I just fucking haven't gotten around to it. I should. So much time, so little to do. Wait, reverse that.
そうか。つまり、
I see. Then you.
聖杯なんていらない。俺は置き去りにしてきたもののためにも。
I don't need the Holy Grail.
自分を曲げることなんて。
I can't stray from my path for the people I've left behind. The DMA is absurdly good music. Might have to listen to the OST at some point then. I declare so within my pain. I wonder what the intro to Persona 4 the anime is like. It's gotta have an intro, right? It just reminds me, because speaking of game anime adaptations, I really, really dig the intro to Danganronpa 1's anime adaptation. It's very catchy and it's in my head at the moment. I control the pain in my fading consciousness and manage to stay up on my knees. Then I finally realize I can't hear the voices. The redness, it's gone away. Character development. The voices aren't echoing anymore. I don't know how they took my answer. But it is sad that they closed their eyes with a single grudge. No, of course you can't fucking skip this. That is the answer her master arrived at, right, and now we switch. Another good point. If Shiro didn't have the fire, if he didn't become the person who he is now, who would be the family for Ilya, the friend for Rin, the dark reflection? Yeah. Very good points. Dash. The anger she bore until just a moment ago has disappeared. She's at a loss for words, staring at her master. This path. I don't believe it's the wrong one. With his bloody body, with his ragged breath, controlling his tears. I can't stray from my path for the people I have left behind. He has apologized to everything he has stepped on, but he still declares that he will not change his path. Dash dash. Her vision wavers. She cannot breathe right either. She knew of his past. As Emi Ashiro has seen Saber's past, she has also seen his. That is why she thought he would nod. No, she thought he had to nod. She wanted to say that it was not his fault. If he could hear, she wanted to say that it is not something Emi Ashiro would be burdened with. But still he denied it. No matter how painful the past, one cannot redo it. Dash dash. She almost collapses. Those words are too heavy for her. Too heavy to fucking make you not kill me, please? Making an oath and devoting everything you have to its accomplishment. Wouldn't it be funny if we went all this way and she still fucking kills me? I'd just fucking look up a guide at that point. It'd be kind of funny, though. She had felt that, that their ways were similar. But that was just conceit. Only she thought they were similar. They could not be similar. His mind is strong, and she, only able to deny his words, was wrong. It rhymed!
自らの救いではなく、自らの願いを取ったか。
So you chose your wishes over your savior. The priest lets go of the boy. He looks down at him in annoyance and walks past him as if he's lost all interest in him.
ではお前はどうだ、セイバー。
Then how about you, Saber?
小僧は聖杯などいらぬという。だがお前は違うのではないか。お前の目的は聖杯による世界の救済だ。
That kid says he does not need the Holy Grail. But you must have a different opinion. Your goal is to use the Holy Grail to save the world. Do not tell me a heroic spirit like you will be as egotistical as that kid. Her heart is shaken by his question. The priest says he will give the Holy Grail. He'll give her the Holy Grail if she has a goal and a wish she wants granted. That is, there's no reason to refuse. She fought for that alone. She became a servant for that reason alone. So what Shiro said does not matter to her. To obtain the Holy Grail, Saber... Then I shall propose an exchange.
Saber. 斧が目的のため、その手で自らのマスターを殺せ。
Saber.
その暁には聖杯を与えよう。
Kill your master with your own hands to achieve your goal. I shall give you the Holy Grail if you accomplish that. She would do anything. It is an unexpected proposal. She cannot understand it. It's not that she cannot understand his words, but such a choice has never existed for her.
どうした？迷うことはあるまい。今の小僧ならば、死んだということにも気がつかないうちに殺せるぞ。
What? You should not hesitate. You can kill this kid before he realizes it.
第一、もはや助からない命だ。ここでお前が引導を渡してやるのも
First of all, he cannot be saved. Would it not be compassionate to kill him right now? The priest steps aside. You think I can't be saved, but in actuality, I have the saber-sexual immortality powers. I forgot that I was actually so close to death theoretically that it also makes it a little more tempting for her to just kill me instead of Kirei. But no, she knows the saber-sexuality immortality powers better than anyone. Maybe. I don't know. Before her is the door leading to the underground cemetery and a collapsed figure. She walks as if drawn to it. She walks past the priest and enters the damp room. Dashish, dashish, dash. This room is hell. He writhed in this place, and he was shown his dark side, and yet he declined the priest's offer. Dashish, dashish, dash. She places her hands on her sword. At her feet is her master, breathing painfully. Dashish, dashish, dash. The end of a long journey. The Holy Grail she desired at the cost of her life, now instead the cost of Shiro's life. It'll be granted just by swinging her sword down. After all, a master and the servant cooperate only until they obtain the Holy Grail. Even if it ends here.
どうした？何をためらう？聖杯と引き換えなのだぞ。
What is it?
交換条件としては破格だと思う。
Why do you hesitate? It is for the Holy Grail. I believe it is quite a bargain. The priest's words are true. It is strange to hesitate now. But still,
その道が今までの自分が
this path, I don't believe it's the wrong one. Those words will not leave her.
私は
I... Saber flashbacking? Is she gonna kill me or not? It's vexing, but she isn't like Shiro. I think this is new dialogue. I think we've successfully not died, but I don't want to jump the gun. She wants to redo everything. I think this image is new. I don't believe we saw this last time. Yeah, that's her just about to draw the sword. The surrounding scenery is interesting. The sky is empty, you know, showing the solitude, but there's some stuff that seems to be on the ground, like maybe packs of some kind. And then there's like a wooden stadium to the left, maybe where people are doing a fighting competition to decide who should be king since no one can fold the sword, or whatever, however that the legend goes or whatever. But she ignores it and just goes to the sword. So where's Archer then? Because he's the one who was all like, if you pull it, you can't take it back. Booga booga booga. He doesn't seem close by in this scene. This picture is just, it's just a bunch of nothing, but I overanalyze. You've already signed up for that at this point. On that day, there was someone better suited to become king. Someone else to pull out the sword. And that person must have been able to build a more peaceful country. You fucking sack of shit. No! You did such a good job! You are wrong! You got fucked by your sister. It's not your fault. If anything, what you'd want to redo is the whole your sister killing you. If you want to redo anything, don't redo the part where you pull the sword, though. That is her heart that holds her country dear. That is the doubt of the girl Artoria before she became a king. That mind, the mind she left behind on the day she drew that sword. Dash, 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 dash. Why did she not realize it before?
置き去りにしてきたもののためにも自分を曲げることは
I can't stray from my path for the people I've left behind. That is her heart that holds her country dear. It is the mind of a girl before she became a king. It's because you hold your country so dear that you drew the sword, that you took a chance. So you're just gonna be a little baby and take everything back just because it didn't work out perfectly? So what? Life's tough. It is not the heart of the king. But if you're gonna be the heart of the king, you have to realize you have to be the king in the first place. If you're gonna take away your whole being a king, then fuck your kingly duty. Girl and the king fighting her mind, yeah. But who's on which side exactly? The only one the king believed in was herself. To deny that would be to deny everything she has taken away. Things lost will never return. Her master continued to appeal in his pain. Court mage having good time in this moment? Which one's the court mage? Is Kirei the court mage? Because he's probably having a good time with this, at least until Saber chooses no! To protect his master waifu husbando. Dash, 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 dash. His figure hurts her so much. Too much to kill him, I guess, this time. What did she tell him? That she could not start a new life? Then continue the one you have. Why does this life of yours have to be over? Archer laughing in the back? I guess there's that. She continued to refuse him, saying that she had a duty as the king. To pretend that you're not the king anymore, so what's the point of even following the duty? What duty is that? To resurrect the destroyed country? To choose a more appropriate king? Or does she only wish to make that destruction never have happened? You yourself don't know? You want to get rid of the responsibility. Have someone else be king so they can do it better. But you don't know they'll fucking do it better. That's wrong. Yes, that is wrong. She was raised and lived as a king. There was no mistake. So if the result was ruin, why could she not accept it? Because she loved her country too much. She wanted to believe there was a better result. But that doesn't mean there actually was. If there is infinite timelines, theoretically there will be one that's good, but there doesn't have to be. There could be infinite bad timelines. There are no regrets. If one can be proud of one's life, one should not wish for another chance. I see now, Shiro. But are you proud of your life? Because if you are, then that makes this choice easier than ever. I thought the whole point is that no, you thought your life was all bullshit. But you probably take some pride in the other knights of the round and all that, right? Sir Lancelot! I could see how some of the stuff that happened in Fate Zero might further make her want to. They don't really bring it up here because, Fate Zero is, prequel and all that. But I could see some of the stuff that happened with Lancelot in Fate Zero might make her more resolute in the whole erasing the timeline thing. Like, God, it's so fucked. Everything's so fucked. I should undo it all. But, you gotta take the happiness with the sadness, as they say. Good times and bad times, too. Shiro's lamentation pierced her heart. Lamentations, even. He said that the tears would go away. That the pain would go away. That the heaviness in her heart would go away as well. That is salvation by elimination. But if everything were made to never have happened, what would happen to all the things taken away? She has taken away many things and killed many. To bear the pain and regret is the requiem. The requiem? So if she wishes for another chance, it should be from this moment on and not from the past. Ooh, development. Salvation by elimination. Everything were made to never happen. What happened to all the things taken away? Taken away many things and killed many. You can't undo that just because you change the timeline. Bad shit's still gonna happen. Maybe different bad shit, but should be from this moment on. Start doing good things now. Don't change the past so that someone else does things better than you maybe. Take responsibility for your actions with your own hands. If there's something she could not do, she should not go back to the past to accomplish it. Rather, she must start to establish the wishes that never came true from this moment on. Shiro finally touched her soul. Good. In the final moments because of Kirei. Hoist by his own Kirei. Or whatever they call that trope. Har, har, har. Saved by the villain. She is no longer a king, as she has lost her country. Yeah, and especially if you're planning to unking yourself, you don't need to do the king duty of when you're going to unking yourself anyway. So I thought that was dumb from the first moment, but... So her wish should be for herself, as he says. No, that is not something that should be wished for. It was her decision to become king. So take responsibility for being the king, continue to be the king. Don't erase yourself as the king. There's that through line too. It was never painful for her. Even if no one understood or accepted her. She believed that what she desired was something she can be proud of. At the least. The girl pulled the sword out believing so. So you're gonna undo that belief? Where would you even go from there? Would you keep your memories? Would they be erased? Wouldn't you just want to be king again if you erased your memories, and if you kept them, just continue being miserable, right? You might even regret taking everything back. And then how would you untake it back? You can only get the grail once, right? And at that point, you're just a servant forever doing nothing? That is the answer. Just like him, that is the only answer she can be proud of. Yes. She remembers the oath that she made a long time ago. What was the oath exactly? Something she has kept to herself. She decided to fight, even if it meant losing everything and fighting everything. Well, you've lost everything, theoretically, and you fought quite a bit. So what was the oath? Theoretically, you shouldn't be breaking it yet, because you've lost everything. The oath was just to fight? Then yeah, keep fighting. Keep fighting the good fight, whatever the good fight means to you, right? I was the foolish one. Yes, you were. Saber definitely was thinking and shaping, changing her wish since Battle of Kalman to this moment, I suppose. Rin and Saber parallels? Rin and Saber parallels? What's the Rin and Saber? To fight till the end? Oh yeah, Rin, just, all I gotta do is fight. Although, with Saber, there's, you know, a bit more importance to it with her oath. Because Rin is just, I gotta fight because that's what my daddy was gonna fight, so we're gonna fight. But with Saber, you know, there's some more, like, oomph to the statement. Some more, I am gonna have to be a king, so that's why I'll fight. But if the oath was, even if I lose everything to keep fighting, then hey, you gotta keep up your duty as the king, keep fighting. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't, you know, sex Shiro a bit on the meantime, you know, just saying, on the down low, you know, in between. But, you know, you can keep up that kingly duty. What is a king without a country? Well, probably more than a prince without a country, or a prince without a planet. Vegeta! Get some of that Saiyan pride. The oath of the king to fight, even in that condition. The king protected the country, but the country did not protect the king. Well, how rude of the country. Fuck the country, then. That is all. The result was cruel, but if there was nothing to be ashamed of in the process, it was only that your sister was the real bitch that fucked everything up, so I can understand a wish to undo all that. But I think what, you know, and your sister, you know, if there's anything way to, you know, make amends there, that's probably the real thing you need to do. Otherwise, just try to make things not get fucked now, I suppose. I mean, someone probably would have ultimately been, you know, they would have been ashamed of you being a girl and all that if they found out the truth. So there was always probably going to be some kind of uprising inevitably eventually when the truth slipped out, I would think. So even if it wasn't your sister, it was. But even if it wasn't, there probably would have been some malarkey going on because the country refused to look up to a girl king or whatever. So, yeah. There was no need to seek it. She swore to accomplish her duties as king. It would be interesting if her wish has been changing, you know, the whole time. Then there's some interest to the idea that maybe it was Lancelot that tipped her over the edge and said, I should erase everything. It's all terrible. No good, very bad. I should erase everything. Whereas before that, maybe it's like, oh, I gotta do a do-over. You know, resurrect my country, do a do-over or whatever, because she kind of talked about that in Fate Zero. But it could be that she hadn't planned to erase herself until the Lancelot thing, and that was sort of a tipping point. There's some possibility to that, I suppose. She swore to accomplish her duties as king. Since Saber lost her sheath, she would have eventually died, and then the country would have definitely fractured. That's true, too. She lost her sheath. There's truth to that. She swore to accomplish her duties as king. Even if the result was her destruction, she fulfilled the oath until the very end. I mean, what end? The end's not over. You're still kicking Saber. Even if you're a servant, you're still a Saber, or rather, you're still Artoria. So she does not need anything else. Yes, she did not want everything. From the beginning, there was only one thing she wanted. She lost many things to obtain it, but there was something she protected until the very end. Oh? She did not want everything. There was only one thing she wanted. What was that one thing exactly? Respect? Compassion? Her subjects to like her? To be able to embrace herself while leading the country? Well, what's the one thing? With that in mind, let her end the dream that was never granted. What's the one thing exactly? If it's supposed to be obvious, I don't think I know what it is. Protected until the very end. Her knightly honor? Her oath?
聖杯は欲しい。けれど、シローは殺せない。
Her knightly honor, seems like. I want the Holy Grail, but I cannot kill Shiro. There's that too. Are you saying that if you got the Holy Grail, though, you'd still do the same wish? Because it's a little character development, but not really, because you weren't really planning to kill Shiro in the first place until Kirei did his Manjumbly Jumbly. So you probably have shifted your wish at this point, I'd say. Maybe now you have the Save the World wish that Kirei originally wanted, but you know, that went a little bad, so... Pointing her sword at the enemy, she says so from the bottom of her heart.
なんだと
What?
わからぬかゲロー。そのようなものより、私はシローが欲しいと言ったのだ。
Do you not understand, fool? Aw, this is gonna make him feel the Jumblies and make his saber-sexual immortality powers kick in, yeah! Do you not understand, fool? I said I favor Shiro more than that thing. That's why her role is already determined. To be his sword and shield. And so, she cannot hesitate any longer. She gonna protect, so she gonna protect. She ain't gonna kill the people she's sworn to protect. That would break her oath.
聖杯はいらぬというのか、セイバ
Are you saying you do not want the Holy Grail? Think now Saber wouldn't redo the selection? What do you mean? I mean, I think if she could, she doesn't want to redo things, but if she can go back and redo the part where, well, of course she wouldn't redo the selection, obviously. That's what that whole thing was about. But, you know, there's the question of would she, you know, not wanting to redo things, would she want to have asked for the Grail for the specific purpose of getting to that? You could get the Grail just to undo that, but that seems a little, you know, silly at this point, especially because now that you can waifu Shiro, right? Are you saying you do not want the Holy Grail?
聖杯が私を汚すものならばいらない。私が欲しかったものはもうすべて揃っていたのだから。
I do not wish it if it will dirty me. Ooh, dirty. I already have everything I wanted. Oh. You signed up for it when you pulled the sword and that was just, you know, to protect and you're still protecting? I guess there's a sense to that. Yes, everything was there. Maybe her wish now is just to break the contract? Yeah. Make it so that she can continue being Shiro's waifu? I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to wish for that. Seems like a fairly easy, straightforward wish. Her pride as a knight and her oath as the king. Gilly might get in the way, though, but now I think Shiro's saber-sexualness will be stronger than ever, so... Even the dream that our girl Artoria wished for. The song's playing. I certainly heard those words. Alright, and just as there was that little transition, let's gonna make a save. We're gonna make a little potty break. I got the saver points, Mommy! Oh yeah. There's that intro track playing again. Always gonna play the intro at the epic outro. I certainly heard those words. The confession of the girl who wished for the Holy Grail. She confessed that she no longer needs such a thing. She now wants her husbando. Or rather, she wants Shiro, her best girl. Saber. I'm controlling my ragged breath. I call her name. Even though I can't see her, I can tell she's nearby. The pain is subsiding. I don't know if it's because she's near me, but the wound is starting to heal up. Alright, Shiro Wolverine powers.
立てますか、シロ。動けるのなら、私の手に触れてください。
Can you stand, Shiro? Please take my hand if you can. Are you sure you don't want to stab me this time? You sure you haven't changed your mind? Alright, fine, if you're sure. Yeah, I can. I take her hand. My vision recovers. all at once. Super recovery. It's definitely linked to Saber. Like, where Saber killed him, he didn't recover at all. But here, he recovered like, bam! Saber accepts him, super recovery. His recovery is definitely in some way tied to Saber and his Saber sexualness. Either that, or it's tied to his desires. And in this case, it just happens to be Saber. That could be true too. Energy starts to flow into my weakened body.
セイバー、これは。
Saber, this is...
はい。いかにゲイボルクの呪いといえど、今のシロには通じません。
Yes.
私のそばにいてくれれば、
Even the
時期感知するでしょう。
of the gay bulk will not be effective against you now. You shall heal completely if you stay by my side. Okay, Saber seems like she actually knows. Does that mean Shiro being the sheath is fucking true? How does that even work? And also his body is made of swords? I feel like it can't be just that. But the way she's talking, she seems to know something about how maybe like the sheath, but then also the swords, but then also... And also his ability to make Caliburn, and how that's not something he should be able to do, especially after he got some of his jujus eaten out. Feels like it's more to it than just his immortality. His powers go further than just the immortality. They can also make Caliburn and all that stuff, which is something that's supposed to be way beyond normal Magus. Which I suppose it's still tied to Saber, so maybe he's not making something that's... And because of that, the sheath, he's pulling it from himself as the sheath? How does that work? How is the sheath if he's the sheath? Does that mean he's not some secret crazy spirit? It seemed like he was a secret crazy spirit. I feel like that's more realistic than the idea that he's somehow the sheath, but maybe they can explain it well. We'll see. But rather... Saber turns to look toward the underground temple. Beyond the door. At the exit of this room stands the last master, Kotomine Kire, and Lancer.
そうか。
A sheath stored swords after all. Okay, Wise, stop being a fool. Because, he's a person. I mean, I know that Elia's a cop, so maybe he could be a sheath, but, was he crafted to be a sheath from birth? Does his parents know about this? Was he affected during the Grail War when he attacked? Saber wouldn't have had her sheath when she was summoned for Fate Zero either, so where the fuck did the sheath come from? Anyways, I see. He observed us, as if seeing us for the first time.
お前たちはつまらない。
You two are boring. Such goody-goodies. You don't want to do some timeline shenanigans? What bores? I mean, we're the only master pair left, right? Who else would you want to give the Grail to? You seem to think, not think much of Lancer. So, I mean, you're just going to give it to Gilly? Is it going to be that boring? You're at least going to try with Rin? You have a backup plan for your backup plan? He spits this out in an emotionless voice.
これではやはり聖杯は私が預かるしかない。
I guess I can use the wish for myself. Yeah, mentally stable people in my church, get lost. It seems I'll have to keep the Holy Grail after all.
だが、そうなると少々手荒い話になる。
But that will be rather violent.
私の望みを叶えるのであれば、聖杯は完全でなければならない。エミヤシロ。
The Holy Grail needs to be complete
お前たちにはここで死んでもらわ
to
なくて
grant
は
me
なら
my
なかった。
wish. What is your wish? I mean, the only thing I can think of off the top of my head is kill your dad with your own hands. Because I know that bummed you that you didn't get the chance to do that. But I feel like something so petty wouldn't be your wish at the moment. I'm sorry. I mean, if that was going to be his wish, I feel like he would have had it much sooner. Just feels kind of petty in the grand scheme of things. He was bummed out about it, but not so bummed that I think he wants to make a wish out of it. I'm sorry, but you must die here, Emiya Shiro. Okay, so you do have your own wish. You just thought seeing other people's wishes more interesting. I think that's fitting for your character, sure. Also, good luck killing me when I'm next to Saber and my sexualness is over 9,000. Dash, just dash. Dash, Lipsies. I try to stand ready. My body still won't move. I can barely stand by taking Saber's hand. I can't fight like this, and more than anything, I'll be a burden on Saber.
その心配は無用です、シロ。あなたはここにいてください。あのマスターとランサーは私一人で十分です。
You're worrying needlessly, Shiro. Remember, Saber is the best servant. Please stay here. I shall be able to take on both of them. Really? Because I know Kira is pretty strong. He's a pretty strong guy. He never, maybe he's not fit to fight servants, but he's pretty good for a puny human.
ほう、それは大きく出たな。これは逃げた方が賢明かな、ランス。
Also, if Gilly shows up, it's really gonna fuck things up. You have a lot of confidence. Do you think it'd be wise to run now, Lancer? Dash dash. Where's Lancer in all this? Lancer doesn't respond. First of all, Kotomine doesn't sound like he's in danger. He's just saying he's scared of us? Is he? But you said he doesn't sound like he's in danger. Oh, he's just saying he's scared. I see.
琴峰と言いましたね。倒す前に聞いておきましょう。あなたの目的は何なのです？
Kotomine,
聖
I
杯
shall
の先
ask,
手役である身で
before I defeat
何を
you,
望むというのですか？
what are your intentions? What do you wish as the supervisor of the Holy Grail?
さて、言ってしまえば娯楽のためだが、それほど急を要しているわけではなくてね。
To put it simply, I wish for entertainment. Okay, that sounds about right. But it's not something I need in a hurry. Entertainment in what way? I guess that's why you'd be willing to let any of us have a wish, because that could be just as entertaining. Interesting. I wonder what specific wish you have planned for this entertainment.
実を言うとな、セイバー。私も聖杯にはそう関心はないのだ。ただあれは私の趣味に合っている。
To be frank, I do not have much interest
私
in
以
the
外
Holy
にふさ
Grail.
わしい持ち主がいないのであれば、もらい受けてやるのが世のためだろう。
But that matches my tastes. If there are no appropriate owners, I shall take it for the sake of the world, to make the world more fun and gravy and stuff, instead of how boring it is now. Just because your life is boring doesn't mean other people's lives are boring. Have you tried playing a video game?
ざれ言をマスターを殺し自らマスターになった男が何を貴様は初めから聖杯を手にするつもりだったはずだ
Ridiculous. What are you trying to claim? After killing a master and becoming a master yourself, you must have intended to obtain the Holy Grail from the beginning. I think he's one of those guys that likes to be a game master that also likes to make himself a game master PC, which is, a little smelly of a move, but I think he pulled it off pretty well. He wants to more intimately control the game as it happens, even if he doesn't necessarily want to win. I could see that.
なに、ただの広いものだよ。ランサーのマスターを始末したのは、外からの魔術師は何かと厄介だったからだ。聖杯がああいうものなのだと外部には知られたくないのでね。早めに退場してもらったのだが。せっかくの
Nonsense.
サーバントを消してしまうのもうまくな
I
い。
came by it by chance. I killed Lancer's master because outside magi are troublesome. Okay. Outside magi, you mean because he's a foreigner? He's the only foreigner? She? I do not want outsiders to discover the true nature of the Holy Grail. Okay, so you're extremely, so you're a radical racist then? So I had the master leave at an early stage. For a second I thought he said early age. How young was she? How old was she? It would not have been smart to eliminate the servant as well, because that would make the fight less fun. You would go down from 7 to 6.
円滑に殺し合いを進めさせる手駒が入りようだったこともあり、少しばかりランサーのマスター権を拝借しただけだが。
I needed a piece to hasten the fighting, so I just borrowed Lancer's master's rights as a master. To spice things up, to cure your incurable boredom. What? And Coach Mina became a master by killing Lancer's master? Oh, that's right. Shiro doesn't know that. That's a thing that only Saber and Rin have talked about, of course. Oh boy, main character catching up with what the player knows.
そうか貴様が何者であるかはもう聞かない
I see. I should not ask any more about yourself.
だが選定役として責務を果たしてもらうぞ今回の器魂の杯はどこにある
But I will have you fulfill your duty as a supervisor. Where is the vessel? The vessel that stole this war. Ilya is a cop, or is that, not quite true?
何？まさか知らずにかくまっていたというのか。
Oh, yeah. They were planning to give it over to Kira after all. Also, what is his expression right now? What does his mouth look like? That face. Oh, he looks rather confused. No, Shiro was just being a nice person. He wasn't being, you know, crafty like you might think he was. You know, he actually is kind of a good person, despite the fact that he has an inner self that's secretly kind of smarter. I don't think that's quite why he was keeping it from the church, just because he does have some good instincts. Do you mean you were hiding it without realizing it? Okay, yeah. He gasped in surprise. Oh, he didn't expect it. Maybe that's why he thought Shiro would be so interesting, because he thought, oh, your inner smarts kept Ilya from me. Maybe. All these people participating, not being real, like Ilya participating despite being the Grail itself, and then Kirei participating despite being the Prompter. Whole bunch of cheaters. Frickin' Shinji participating despite not being, like, apparently he was forced into it or something, or he's not a real mage, or Shiro participating despite he wasn't even the one who made his summoning circle. Bunch of cheaters, I tell you. Only for an instant. Yes, he's not one to let on surprise very often. But this must have hit him hard if he actually gasped at that. After looking us over with pleasure, he snaps his fingers to bring in the last character. Oh god, Gilly or Lancer? With pleasure. That means he's going to enjoy our realization that she's a cup and not a girl to be protected. She still has to be protected, though. What? Oh, is Lancer whining at this too? The two tense up. Hard footsteps descend from above. Is this Gilly? This is the fifth war after all. There must be a lot of known loopholes at this point. I guess so. Breaking too many rules.
さて、お前たちには不要だろうが、紹介ぐらいはしておこう。彼はアーチャーのサーバット。前回の聖杯戦争で私のパートナーだった英霊だよ。
It probably isn't necessary, but let me introduce him anyway. This is the servant Archer. He is the heroic spirit that was my partner in the last Holy Grail War. Oh my god, I never saw that coming! Holy shit! They're definitely making it up like it's supposed to be a big deal. Lancer's reaction is interesting. Did he not know about the other Archer? I wouldn't be surprised if he's completely out of the loop. In that case, though, would he decide to team up with Saber to fight against this Archer? Like, but that would be forsaking. He's already doesn't like Kirei, but this might be crossing the line if he secretly has a second partner. Granted, Kirei could always just control Lancer with a command spell. Oh, and we disconnected. Okay. Where were we? The two tense up, hard footsteps descend from above. Right, so Lancer's situation is interesting. I wonder if he joins up. That was unexpected. Are you kidding me with me? It's fucking always expected at this point. I wonder if Lancer will want to team up with Saber to beat this sacrilege servant. That could be one way they could actually match him normally. Granted, they were already able to injure him before he ran away, so Shiro and Saber could potentially do it without Lancer's help, but if they had to fight Lancer as well and Kirei, that's when it starts to become slightly unwinnable, I feel. Unless Saber does have even more tricks up his fucking sleeve. Him teaming up with Lancer would make it more realistic, but it might make it... I think that, okay, combined with him teaming with Kirei being with Gilly might make up for the fact that, you know, Shiro has a bit of BS in his back pocket too, I suppose. Gilly could also pull out something crazy, I suppose. It's, how Lancer takes this is definitely going to be unimportant. It seems likely he would side with us, but he might just decide to be a third party and not participate. I'm still thinking back to when the thing happened, the thing and stuff, you know, to when we injured Gilly and he ran away like a pussy, which was unexpected given how angry he was. I expected him to come at us, but he was deciding to play along with Kirei's game, I guess, and now that Kirei's at his final stage, possibly. That makes me wonder if there are any bad ends versus Gilgamesh. I suppose he could get carried away with his fun and take it too far. But theoretically, you think he'd want to wait for Kirei to do his plan, but probably not too much of a wait, only slightly wait. Only when he realized how much of a threat it was he like, no, I shouldn't deal with this right now. It still feels interesting, but let's see where this goes. The Golden Knight appears. Oh no! It is Gilgamesh, the King of Heroes. The atmosphere changes immediately, as it always does when he shows up. Gilgamesh, appearing suddenly, crosses the temple and stands by Kotomine.
んで、これからどうするのだ、ことみね。このような場所で、しかも邪魔者を交えて決着をつけるのか。
So, what are we gonna do now, Kotomine? Are we settling the match with these nuisances here?
お前にしてはあまりいい演出とは言えないな。
I don't think this is good directing on your part. Yeah, he wants it to be a more interesting finale. He would have preferred if Shiro or Saber got their wish. It's kind of funny. I think I remember that slightly from Fate Zero. He himself has some eternal boredom because of how above the world he is. I think for a different reason, but he himself finds himself rather bored and trying to find ways to amuse himself, which I think is why him and Kirei sort of connect to a certain extent. So, yeah, I guess that would explain it. I'm still surprised his anger didn't just explode, but maybe he would have rather seen what Kirei had planned. He enjoys seeing Kirei's, plans manifest. Still, though, the backing away from anger, I am curious at what he was feeling at that moment and the real reason he backed away. He might explain it now, though.
それを言うな。私とて予想外なのだ。文句は後で聞いてやるから許せ。
Do not say that. I was not expecting this either. I shall listen to your complaints later, so please forgive me. I'm sorry that it's such a boring movie, I know. But even boring movies can have good endings. Listen to your complaints later, it's still just funny.
なんだ。承知しているのならばいい。
I definitely like their chemistry for sure. Kirei, Archer, best pair. If you understand, it's fine.
だが、そのヤヒな男はどうにかならんのか。
Oh, is that what's gonna happen?
殺してしまいそうになるぞ。
But can you not do something about that vulgar man? I might kill him if he glares too much at me. He's just gonna fucking kill Lancer that way? Archer just shows up, instantly marks him, and then Saber have to deal with him without Lancer? Is that what happens? Oh my god, Lancer would just be in the worst position in that case. Lancer is quite a glare, that's true. Interesting that Archer's definitely recomposed himself, because he was certainly shaken when last we parted. But I wonder how much deep down he's just waiting, itching for his chance to get another go in. I guess he is okay with it as long as it's entertaining and wouldn't mind if Saber killed Shiro that way, which shows that maybe he has a handle on his anger to an extent, which I didn't expect. Maybe he's humbled by how interesting Kirei makes things for him. I wonder how much Kirei has let him enjoy, entertained him over the past 10 years. There hasn't really been a Grail War, but I wonder if there's been anything else. He must have been doing something during his time, just finding any such way to reclaim his anything. But now he doesn't mind after 10 years of giving it another go. And he was still just willing to let Saber have her wish. It's interesting because Gilly was talking about how I'll make Saber my waifu, but I suppose he's also fine with seeing Saber get her wish because it's part of Kirei's play, and he never considered Saber really that much of a waifu anyways, and maybe after what happened with Shiro and Saber, he decided she wasn't worth the trouble? Maybe. Just things to think about. He also seems like maybe, because of how high and mighty he is, maybe he's a bit flippant about what he actually wants because of how bored he is. Like, one moment he wants Saber as the waifu, then he wants Kirei and his plan to unfold. So there's that too, I suppose. Flipping, trying to find what really is the most fun outcome.
どういうことだ、ことみね。その
Yep, he
男
didn't
がお
know.
前のサーバントだと。
What the hell is this, Kotomine? That man is your servant?
なあ、お前には説明していなかったな。彼は前回の私のサーバントだ。聖杯戦争が終結した後、
Oh, I
意
did
見を
not
同じくしてな。
explain it to you yet. He's my servant from the previous war. We shared the same feelings after the last war ended. What, it was a boring ending and you want more fun? More flair? Is that why this one's so soon after the last one? You pulled some strings to set it up?
彼は私に従い、私も彼がとどまるにふさわしい食事を用意することで、こうして協力関係になったというわけだ。
Since he obeyed me and I prepared sufficient food for him to stay here, we ended up cooperating. Sufficient food. Jeez.
それがあのいけすかねえ部屋ってわけか。そりゃいいが、なぜ俺に黙っていた？
So that's the reason for that disgusting room. Fine. But why didn't you tell me about it? So we just never knew about why that room was there? Master really is a dick. Because you don't need to know, you're simply a pawn.
言う必要があるとでも、それとも何か彼と共同戦線を張りたかったのか。
Did you think there was a need to? Or did you want to cooperate with him on your mission?
冗談。そんな野郎と手を組むなんざ死んでもお断りだ。
No way. I'd rather die than cooperate with that guy. And this is when Gilly comes in and says, that can be arranged. Dash, dash. Now there are 3. Lancer's by the stairs and Gilgamesh is standing in the temple. Dash, 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 dash. Uh-oh. There's no way we can win. We can't even match Gilgamesh. And we can't even run away if Lancer's there as well.
琴峰、お前、奴のことは知らないって。
He was obviously lying. Kotamina, you said you didn't know about him. Well, yeah, I also never said that Lancer was secretly working for me. I never said that I had a bunch of corpses in my basement. I mean, you didn't fucking, I mean, to be fair with those, you didn't ask, but I mean, you can just lie. I wonder if Rin shows up and helps out, or Ilya shows up. Ilya's a cop, though. I was going to say, what if Rin and Ilya show up, but Rin's probably has to take care of Ilya. I don't know if Rin could get here fast enough. Maybe enough time has passed, though. I don't know. I feel like it's all been pretty quick in universe, so.
人聞きが悪いな。私はこれでも神父だぞ。虚言など口にできぬよ。
But you did. Do not doubt me. I'm a priest. I cannot lie. So what did you do? How did you prettily dance around the truth?
そんなことあるか。お前は確かに前回から残ったサーバントは放っておけないって。
That's not true. You said you couldn't ignore a servant from the last war. Well, he wasn't ignoring him. He's been feeding this servant, so I guess that's not ignoring him, right?
ああ、私とて驚いたのだ。アーチャーには待機を命じていたという。
Ah, he was getting bored.
指示を破
That
って
sounds like
お前
Archer.
たちを襲ったのだからな。
I was surprised as well. I ordered Archer to stay here, but he disobeyed and went to attack you. Yeah, that sounds like Gilly. That sounds like a Gilly thing. He was gonna stay out until the last moment, I suppose, for the grand finale, but he's like, I'm just so bored, and I want to talk to Saber again. Sounds like him, yeah.
アーチャーを調べれば、いずれ私に突き当たるのは道理だ。故に、今後の対策を練らねばならなかった。どうだ。何一つとしてお前を測ってはいまい。
It's only natural for you to discover me if you investigate Archer. Yeah, especially because of his link with Saber, who saw in the previous war that these two were buddy-buddy. Therefore, I had to come up with some sort of plan. See, I did not lie to you at all. Yeah, exact wording. Would have to read the scene again, but I'll take your word for it. Oh, why though? He could be lying now too. But I choose to believe that he really doesn't lie and only uses his words prettily, because that makes his reading his dialogue more fun, since you don't have to, overthink what he might be really thinking versus the lies. Ellipses. I'm pissed. That guy tricked me and I came straight to the enemy's base. You knew deep down, though. That's why your red voice was all like, there's corpses. But you didn't choose to go the other way, though I could have chose that, but I didn't. You chose to go to the basement.
貴様がアーチャーのマスターだというのか。
So you're Archer's master. I feel like you wouldn't be that surprised. I'm pretty sure she knew that from the previous war, too. I feel like, to be fair, he wasn't Archer's original master. I think she would have known about the switcheroo, though. Then again, she didn't interface much with Kiritsugu. And Kiritsugu is the main rival to Kirei, so maybe she wouldn't know. I feel like she knew, but maybe she didn't.
そうだ。10年前の再現になったな、セイバー。
Correct. This is much like a repeat of 10 years ago. You said Saber. His voice said Saber, but the lines don't say Saber. Interesting.
もっとも、 あの時私はすでにキリツグに倒され、最後の場面には立ち会えなかった。お前と顔を合わせるのはこれが2度目で。
Yeah,
そして最後になる。
that final fight between Kiritsugu and Kirei, that is one of the things that definitely sticks out in my mind when I think back to Fate Zero, because that was something that a lot of Fate Zero was building up to, and I remember really enjoying that fight. Even though the ending of Fate Zero was slightly a whimper on purpose, I would say, that final fight between Kiritsugu and Kirei was still very strong. I liked it a lot. I haven't seen it in ages, but I remember liking it a lot. Maybe if I watched it again, I'd think it's terrible. I was unable to witness the final moment since Kiritsugu had already defeated me. This will be the second and the last time I shall see you. It definitely sets up Juicy for the idea of seeing the prequel, so it might have been in mind already when this happened, but I wonder how Shiro's going to react to that. That they had the big battle at the end.
答えろ。アーチャーはなぜ残っている？あの火事はなぜ起きた？キリツグに倒されたというお前はなぜ今も生きている？
Answer me. Why does Archer still remain? What caused that fire? Why are you still alive even after being beaten by Kiritsugu? I mean, I think Saber knows roughly what caused that fire. It was the Grail to an extent, right? Because, you know, Kiritsugu was like, destroy the Grail or whatever. And so she went, ba-boom, and then, like, it explodinated, right? So, I think it's a combination of, the explodinating and the Grail and the fire, something like that. Probably has to do with the Grail, but I don't know. I'm surprised she doesn't know. I guess she did vamp out immediately, so I suppose she wasn't there the whole time? But why would Kirei know any more than she does is what I'm wondering, if he wasn't even there. I guess she's just desperate for answers, I suppose. Saber's angry as there's hatred in her voice. I don't believe there's any special reason for why Kirei's still alive. Just that, I think for Kiritsugu the circumstances were kind of special. I don't remember exactly. A question long unanswered. Well, it's not that long because the 10 years passed an instant for her, right? Because of how it works. So, it's a little long unanswered. Only this pathway, really, though. As if asking about the crime of the disaster 10 years ago.
そのようなこと言うまでもなかろう。
I do not even need to tell you.
10年前、不完全ながらも聖杯は満ち、手に取ることが可能だった。
10 years ago, the Holy Grail was incomplete but full, and it was possible to obtain it. Right. And Kiritsugu tried to obtain it?
私はそれに触れただけだ。キリツグとお前は強力だったのでな。分断させるための目くらましが欲しいと願ったのだが、あのような目くらましが起きるとは、
You touched it.
私も驚いた。
I don't remember that. I merely touched it. You and Kiritsugu were powerful, so I wished for a diversion to separate you two. But I was surprised by the diversion that occurred. The diversion that separated them? I don't remember that. I believe Saber was fighting Berserker, and Gilly was fighting Ryder, though that might not have been the exact same timing. Dash, 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 dash. Hold on. Could that be... What, the diversion being the fire? That wouldn't really make sense, would it? Or would it? Did he touch it after the fact? Did he touch it after Kiritsugu? Did he cause that fire? Did he somehow get Kiritsugu to use his thing to destroy the Holy Grail? Even though that seemed very in character for him. But maybe Kirei finagled a bit?
では、あの火災は貴様が聖杯の力で起こしたものだというのか？
Then you caused that fire with the power of the Holy Grail? I definitely didn't get that impression at the time, but... Okay. Okay, that makes him even more of an evil. It takes a little bit away of, from Kiritsugu's, you know, self-hatred and self-healing, and it's almost maybe better that Kiritsugu doesn't know the truth, because I don't know, because then the character development might not have happened. Because he thought it was his fault, I think that's what kind of forced him into the character development. Did Kirai cause that fire with his wish? That is one way to make entertainment, but I feel like if Kirai did get a chance to wish, he'd make something bigger than that. I suppose because there was still one servant left, he had the chance. Or two servants left, I'd say.
さあな、思うのだが、私でなくても聖杯は同じことをしただろう。あれはそういうものだ。万能の杯というが、その中に満ちたものは血と闇と呪いでしかない。
Who knows? I think the Holy Grail would have done the same thing even if I was someone else. It is a thing of that nature. People call it an omnipotent vessel, but only blood, darkness, and curses fill it. Yeah, it definitely seems like not a very nice grail.
お前も見たのだろう。聖杯を破壊した折、そこから溢れ出した闇を。アーチャーはそれを浴びてしまっただけだ。お前が聖杯さえ壊さなければ、アーチャーとてこのように迷いはしなかっただろうよ。
You saw it as well, right? The darkness that spilled out from it when you destroyed the Holy Grail. It only spilled onto Archer. Archer would not have lost his way if you had not destroyed the Holy Grail. Wait, what? It only spilled onto Archer. You're talking about Gilly, right? This Archer. Archer would not have lost his way. What? He was already a douche back then. What are you talking about? Would not have lost his way if you had not destroyed the Holy Grail? You mean he wouldn't have gotten his wish? Or you mean he would have gotten his wish if he had beat you properly? He didn't beat you properly, so he didn't get his wish? Is that what you mean by lost his way? Don't really understand.
よまいごと聖杯は持ち主の願いを叶える魔法の鎌だ。ならばあの火災はお前の願望ではなかったのか？
Nonsense. The Holy Grail is a magical vessel that grants the wishes of its possessor. That fire must have been your wish.
結果だけはな。だがその過程は私が想像していたものとは違う。私はただあの土地から人がいなくなればいいと思っただけだ。
Only the result. The process was not what I had in mind. I only wish for people to be gone from that place. So it's like a genie. You gotta be careful what you wish for in your exact wording. Though they'll always make it come true, but, you know, doesn't mean they can't, you know, as long as it's not, you know, exact wording, they'll do it however they want to do it. Doesn't mean it has to be, you know, so if you did, like, I wish I was never the king, like, you know, if that was your wish, if, let's say Artoria's wish was, I wish I was never the king, they might make it so that, they could, like, it depends on if it is exact wording, they could make it so that in the Times, they changed it so that she was never named king. She was named, like, the president of the European Arthur Legion. They could use president back then. And if they did that, she was technically never the king, but all of the same events could have still happened. So that's an option.
そもそもお前たちは想像力が貧困だぞ。
In any case, you lack imagination. I assume Kiritsugu rejected the Grail, and in that brief period before he ordered Saber to destroy it, Kirai must have finagled his way. That definitely, I don't think. I do not believe I would have forgotten this, but I don't believe that was ever shown in Fate Zero, which I think is fine to hide that fact, because if you're someone who's seen Fate Zero, you know. And if you haven't, then... Or if you're someone who's seen Fate Stay Night, you know. And if you haven't, then might as well keep this surprise. I think it's fine. It would have eaten into Kiritsugu's big BSOD, and his saving of Shiro would have been diminished a little if they'd focused on the Kirai aspect. So I think it's fine for them to leave that out.
願いが叶う。それはいいが。では願いとはどうやって叶えるのだ？まさか願った瞬間に世界が変わるとでも思っていたのではあるまいな。
Your wishes will be granted, that's fine. But how will your wish be granted? Did you think the world would change the instant you wish? I guess the grill decides, unless you word it extremely specifically. Dash.
元の聖杯はどうあれ。今の聖杯は力の渦に過ぎん。
I do not know about the original Holy Grail, but this Holy Grail is merely a vortex of power. Okay. Okay, I'm surprised. I'm kind of well, I don't know, because I don't know. Is this the end of the game, quote unquote, one of many, or because it feels based on the Tiger Dojo, like you're kind of supposed to do these pathways in order. In which case, I'm kind of surprised this is being revealed so early. I feel like the Grail's actually a bad guy would be held on to, but okay.
精密な計算、相互作用による矛盾の修正など論外だ。あれはな、ただ純粋な力に過ぎぬ。
It cannot make precise calculations or correct any inconsistencies. It's only pure power.
巨大な兵器と同じだ。持ち主が富を願えば、周囲の人間をことごとく殺害し、主人に幸福を与える。
So it's the worst possible thing that you can attain if you're trying to save things. It is like a great weapon. If the possessor wishes for great riches, it will kill everything around it to bring happiness to its possessor. Yeah, if you want great riches, the Grail could just be like, all right, I will kill everyone else in the region. Now go collect all those riches. That's one way. Which definitely, yeah, goes against the kind of things that Shiro would ever want to wish for. It seems like for wishing, Tiger Dojo 13 is even worse. Yeah, because whatever Saber wished for was probably shit regardless. Like, yeah. Things to think about. It's great for selfish wishes, but whatever you wish for, the Grail's gonna achieve it in some bad way. So if you try to be like, I want to save the world, it kind of depends, I think, on your definition of what saving the world means, and the Grail will then just do whatever it wants to save it in that small definition, but at the cost of whatever else. Like, for example, if you consider saving the world to be, I don't want any more wars, then it might be that there are no more wars because the Grail just takes everyone's free will or whatever, and like hypnotizes the entire world. Nobody is allowed to think for themselves, so that they're not allowed to think of the idea of war. It could do something fucked up like that. So, yeah. Seems like a baddie bad. But okay.
わかるか。あの底なしの魔力の釜はな、持ち主の願いを破壊という手段でしか叶えられぬ欠陥品なのだ。
Do you understand? That magical vessel is a defective item that can only grant the wishes of its possessor through a method called destruction.
それでは話が違う。
That's not what was promised. Doesn't necessarily matter what was promised. If you have a clear wish, I mean, this is a freaking fight to the death, you realize. We have to kill 6 other people and stuff to make it work. I think you should realize that there needs to be some selfishness in your wish. I guess maybe not, but if you're gonna be selfless about it, maybe you shouldn't have taken part in the fight in the first place. Maybe there's a hidden moral there, Saber.
万能の力。持ち主の望み通りに世界を変革するのが聖杯ではなかったのか。
Is the Holy Grail not something that will grant any wish to its possessor? To be honest, it's good it's good narratively that Shiro and Saber rejected the Grail before learning this truth. Very much so. It's great they rejected it first. Because if they learn to the truth, then it makes it an easy rejection. So it's good that they have their character growth moment instead of, you know, they didn't get the easy get out of character development free card. They were forced the choice beforehand. I agree. Makes sense to believe Kotomine since they seem to know this Grail after FZ. I mean, then again though, Kotomine says he doesn't lie, but that could be a lie. So you know.
違うものか。聖杯の手段は実に理にかなっている。
What did you say exactly? Is the Grail not something that granting wishes? It is. The measures the Holy Grail takes are very reasonable.
人を生かすということは人を殺すということだろう。
Letting one person survive means killing another. Life is a zero-sum game.
この世はすべて等価交換によって成り
Equivalent
立っている。
exchange.
その中で突出した出来事を望むのならば、
The world is one of
何か
equal
を食いつぶして
exchanges.
飛び上がるしかあるまい。
Wishing for some special event means feeding on something to make it possible. You want one person to be rich? Someone else got to be poor. You want to be super rich? Multiple people have got to be poor. You don't want to get murdered? Well, someone else has to get murdered. Etc., etc., etc.
調和など気にしていては願いなど叶わぬ。
Wishes will not come true if you worry about harmony. Yeah, I think there's... I kind of like that as the through line, not just, you know, participating in this war in the first place is a rather selfish thing to do because you realize how much death has to go into it, or you should. Then you got people like Reno who don't even fucking think about it. I don't really have a wish, I just want the fucking fight. But I think it should be that you have a real selfish wish going into the war, because, I mean, the war itself is a rather selfish thing to do to get the thing. Having some big, grand, nice wish is nice, but when you realize what the method you're doing to get it, feels like you're cheating, and maybe it shouldn't even be the way you get it in the first place.
つまりは弱者からの略奪による変動だ。それこそが最も効率の良い変革だろう。
It's merely a fluctuation dependent on the plundering of the weak. It is the most efficient fluctuation. Dash 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 dash. I can understand Saber's surprise. If Kotomine is telling the truth, this Holy Grail is far from the Holy Grail she wished for. Good thing she already decided not to wish for it. A power that only grants the wish of its possessor. The usurper that grants the wish of its possessor at the cost of everything else. This is the true identity of the omnipotent power given to the master and the servant.
ならば聖杯というのは
Then the Holy Grail is kind of a selfish jerk, meant to be obtained and used by other selfish jerks.
持ち主以外のものを排除する。この上ない
Poisoned vessel that eliminates everything but its possessor. Fitting, given that you have to eliminate all the other masters and servants to possess it. It's a little interesting that it actually grants theoretically a wish to both the master and servant, because that means they gotta share. And sharing doesn't seem like there'd be any place for sharing in a zero-sum game. I guess you could share 50-50, but someone might want 100, right? Holy Grail is a good representation of magic society in general. Yeah, Rin said from the start that it's kind of shitty. So,
お前も見ればわかる。あれはな。
you'll know when you see
際限
it.
のない呪いの塊だ。
It's a true curse.
そしてそれは
And that
私にとっても
delights
喜
me.
ばしい。
Oh, Kira, you're fun.
聖杯に触れるのは聖職者の夢だがね。人を殺すためだけの聖杯が存在し、ましてそれを扱えるなど、まさに天上の夢でも見ているかのよう。
Ooh, you can hear the laughing in his voice. It's great. Touching the Holy Grail is a dream for a man of the church. But this Holy Grail exists to kill everything, and to be able to control that, it's like a dream. You said dream twice in the same sentence. A little iffy on the wording. Saying that, the priest laughs. It's not a polite laugh like before. A laugh from the bottom of his heart, a holy laugh without any evil. I think there's a bit of evil in the laugh, just a little bit. That laugh forces me to realize this man is not human. I cannot let him have the Holy Grail over anyone. I mean, the way he's talking, I feel like no matter who gets the Holy Grail, things are gonna get fucked. But he especially will probably fuck things over the most.
ではお別れだ。
The best wish is to not have a wish, because if you have a wish, the Grail's gonna fuck you up somehow. I mean, if you are a decent human being who cares about things not getting fucked up, then you probably shouldn't get your wish. Then this is goodbye. If there really is one thing you care about more than anything else, and you want that, then I guess go for it. But you have to realize probably something you care about less is probably gonna get fucked up. But
ゴミを始末しろ。ランサーは小僧、アーチャーはセイバーだ。
take care of the trash. Lancer take the boy. Archer takes Saber. Oh, interesting. Shiro wants to ruin all the fun. Any plans of extending Saber's life with Shiro seem null unless they start breaking their morals. I mean, yeah, how would Saber I mean, to be fair, Archer got to be corporeal. he got to get his life, or however you word that. Corporeal, is that right? He got to be a real boy, so Saber could maybe do it too. Maybe you get, like, that's supposed to be the base wish of the servant, so it could maybe work. Maybe, we'll have to see. Shiro's got some kind of Super Saiyan powers, so maybe those Super Saiyan powers let him defy the Grail, or control the Grail, or maybe his strong will let him, you know, fucking fight the Grail. But anyways, it's interesting, pairing Archer against Saber and Lancer against Shiro. Shiro, if as strong as, you know, he might actually be able to compete with Lancer now with, you know, how much his training and all that. It's been a long time since Shiro faced Lancer, you know, back in the beginning of the game where he was running like a little pussy. Saber, on the other hand, powered by the Shirosexual, might be able to take Archer. Definitely seems like a decent kind of climax, but Lancer feels like he's probably gonna get fucked. He's probably gonna get killed by Archer mid-fight when he might bump into Archer's back at one point, and Archer's like, you're just fucking in the way. Stab through the stomach, or, wow, you actually let yourself get beat by Shiro? I should show you the right way. And stab Lancer partway through, it feels likely. But where are you going, by the way, to fetch Ilya? I kind of thought Archer might have fetched Ilya, but the priest turns his back and goes up the stairs. No one's after me and the 2 servants. Wait, you mean 3 servants, right? Saber, Archer, Lancer? And Saber. Oh, why do you have to add that afterwards? As an afterthought. Standing as if to guard me, glaring at her enemies. Time passes. We have to defeat Lancer and Gilgamesh to escape outside. Time passes? What the fuck does that mean? You didn't start fighting immediately? It's impossible to beat them. We have to do something and regroup.
Shiro.
Saber mutters while looking at the enemy. Regroup? Do something and regroup with who? Rin and Ilya?
無理を承知でいます。決して私のそばから離れないでください。
Normally it's Shiro that wants to be by Saber, and Saber objects, and now it's Shiro who's thinking something else, and Saber's like, no, be beside me. Oh, development. I know I'm asking for something impossible, but please stay beside me. Oh boy. She grasps my hand firmly. That tells me she's ready. Oh boy, and Shiro's been ready for a long time. You ready for Caliburn? You ready for dual wielding? Excalibur, Caliburn, dual wielding?
分かった。意地でもついていくから、俺のことは気にかけるなよ。
Alright, I'll do my best to follow you, so don't worry about me. I nod to her. I can barely walk right now. Saber and I both know that. With that in mind, Saber has told me she'll break through this. Okay. So what can I do but nod? I mean, you gotta. You've been pushing for this, you know, back-to-back badasses with Saber the whole time, right?
はい。信頼しています。
Yes. I trust you. I mean, you'd have to. And he's trusted you the whole time, so... She replies in a small voice.
いざ!
Now? Oh? Did you have some plan going on? Is Ren gonna show up out of nowhere? Or are you about to just move and Ren's not involved at all? It's just you and I'm overthinking. Okay, you're just moving. Letting go of my hand, Saber runs to the temple. But I thought you were staying together. Is she... What? Uh-oh. Things are starting. The 2 figures react to her movement. The slashing begins. Ellipses. Is Gilly gonna fight in casual clothes, or did he, you know... Nani? Only Saber and I are surprised. What happened? Double Gabolg? Are they dual-wielding Gabolgs? Lancer's lance that should have attacked me goes for Gilgamesh! Oh, fuck! He's gonna join our side and get killed by Gilgamesh anyways. Okay. That was the final thing, the last straw he wasn't okay with. Was the second servant, was he waiting? Alright, Lancer being the good guy in the end. I mean, he was, you know, honorable to a fault or whatever, but fucking Kiri was never his original master anyways. Gilgamesh's longsword repels Lancer's ass as if expecting it. Oh, he knew. Gilgamesh is nothing if not good at the fighting.
悪いな。手元が狂った。
Sorry, I missed. Okay, are you talking to Gilly or are you talking to Saber? Like, oops, I meant to attack Saber, my bad. Sorry, I missed.
そうか。随分と軽い槍なのだな。
I see.
それは。
Your lance must be pretty light. I mean, you know, Gilly, you have one as well. Are you gonna show it to him? The two separate without any sign of hostility. Oh, really?
言っておくが、貴様の標的はあの雑種だ。セイバーは俺に任されたものだと覚えているか？
Your target is that mongrel. You do remember that I'm in charge of Saber, right? And I'm going to do so many things with her when I'm done.
ああ、それね。悪いが気が変わった。命令されたわけじゃねえしな。
Well, commencements do exist for a reason. Oh, that, sorry. But I changed my mind. He didn't order me with the command spell, so I'm not gonna obey him. Saying so, Lancer faces Gilgamesh as if protecting us. He's totally gonna get marked by Gilly. But if he doesn't Saber technically win? I mean, because Archer doesn't count, right? That's the whole point. That's why Lancer... we'll see. Lancer, you're being our new best buddy. Oh boy! Well, I mean, when your master fucks you over that much, even a servant has to draw a line at some point, I guess. He's not fully honorable, but I think this is better than being fully honorable for the wrong person. Wasn't even his original master.
くだらねえことなら口にするなよ。別に貴様に肩入れしているわけじゃねえ。俺は俺の心情に肩入れしてるだけなんだからよ。
If it's something stupid, don't say it. I'm not helping you or anything. I'm just following my beliefs. That's right, because that's your ninja way. Wait, no, wrong thing. Lancer points his lance at Gilgamesh. He really intends to let us go. Why are we calling Gilgamesh, but we don't call Lancer QQ Lane?
まあ、いい加減我慢の限界でもあったしな。ここまで舐められて、おいそれと命令を聞くほどよくできた人間じゃねえってことだ。
Well, I was at my limit too.
ここで縁切りだな。
I'm not nice enough to listen to his orders when he looks down on me this much. I'm cutting my ties with Kotomine right now.
ほう。では契約を切るということか。聖杯は目の前だというのに。
You're breaking your contract with him?
このまま消えても構わないのか。
So you don't mind being eliminated now, even though the Holy Grail is right in front of you?
てめえと一緒にするな。もとよりな。俺は二度目の聖なんぞに興味はない。
Don't treat me like you.
英雄なんて連中はな、どいつもこいつもそんなものに興味はない。
I've never had any interest in a second life. No hero's interested in such a thing. He just wanted some good fights. He never cared about getting the Grail, so it makes sense that he turned now. He was still honorable, an honorable person working for his master, but now, after learning all this bullshit, it makes sense he turned.
俺たちはこの世に固執してるんじゃない。果たせなかった未練に固執するのみだ。
We're not attached to this world. We're just attached to the oaths we couldn't fulfill. Like you and your whole dog eating thing. Haven't read your story in a while, but you ate a dog or something, right? And now he's a protector of dogs?
まあ、てめえみてえに欲の皮が突っ張った音量にはわからないだろうがな。
Well, I guess a greedy apparition like you wouldn't understand.
なるほど。死に際が鮮やかだった男は言うことが違う。
I
こ
see.
の裏切りも英雄の誇りとやらに沿ったものか。
A man with a brilliant death has something different to say. So this betrayal is a result of your heroic pride as well, eh?
まったく。斧が信念を貫くのは厳しいな。ランサー。
Following Kirei in the first place was because of his heroic pride, and now betraying him is also his heroic pride. It is, yeah. Following your beliefs sure is hard, Lancer. Much more better to be free and open. I liked Ryder a lot from Fate Zero, but he also did want to, become a real boy if memory serves. And I don't think it's wrong to want to be a real boy. It just means, more the adventurous spirit of looking forward, following the horizons. But I can also follow the idea that you're just doing the honorable thing of working for your master to get them the thing, because that's the honorable thing, and you want to win in battle and stuff. So I think it depends servant to servant, but yeah. The air behind him distorts. Weapons appear in an empty space. Here we go. The gates of Babylon open. Dash, 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 dash.
ランサー、あれはあらゆる宝具の原型を持つもの。我らの中で最も古い歴史を持つ英雄王です。 いくらあなたでも1対1では。
Lancer, he has all the original noble phantasms. He's the king of heroes with the longest history. He even has a fucking gay bulg. Even you cannot take him on head to head. Lancer doesn't care.
そうかよ。
Oh.
なるほど。道理で偉そうなわけだ。やりたい放題やって国を滅ぼしたって野郎だからな。そりゃ少年が腐ってる。
Damn, I see. No wonder he's so conceited. He's the guy who destroyed his own country by just doing whatever he wanted, so of course he's twisted. But you do realize that means he's got a fucking gay bulg of his own. Maybe he doesn't use it as good as you do, but he has one.
ランサー、強がりを言っている場合では。
Man, this is no time to be bluffing. Bluffing? I mean, it's one thing to be afraid, but it doesn't mean you have to show your fear. I mean, you're still gonna have to fight him regardless. You know that, Saber. Lancer just, you know, just because he doesn't show the fear doesn't mean he doesn't have it.
いいからさっさと失せろ。助言なんざしやがって何様のつもりだ。
Just get
かばった程
lost.
度で仲間意識持ちやがって。
Who are you to give me advice? Don't think I'm on your side just because I protected you. He's against Kirei, not necessarily with Saber. There is a difference.
たく、これだから育ちのいい騎士様ってな気に食わねえ。
Jeez, this is why I don't like well-mannered knights. I can see that. I can see the little, the bromance between the two of them, even though one of them's not a bro, you know. The knight who, you know, he follows the rules, even though he's like, man, rules could be a drag sometime, but I follow them because I'm honorable. And the knight who's like, I will follow them because following them is so beautiful. And because the rules themselves are beautiful. Lancer urges Saber to run. If we leave, you are going to get killed. Do you not know how narratives work? Your only chance of living is if we fight together, and you'll still probably die. Dash, dash, dash. I get that he wants a one-on-one fight because of the honor and all that bullshit, but if our best chance is probably to team up, right? I guess Saber and me are injured, especially me, but I don't know. Saber hangs her head for a second.
ご分をこの恩は必ず。
Good luck, I shall return this favor. Really? We're just gonna leave him? He's totally gonna die. 100%. Taking my hand, she runs to the stairs. We're following Kirei then? Lancer is 100% fucked.
しまった。逃がしてしまったか。
Damn, I let them go. Doesn't seem too concerned. Maybe Kirei partially expected this? Probably did, given how much he's been fucking over Lancer. So what does Kirei have then? How could Kirei potentially fight them? Even if it's only for a little bit. Because, you know, I'm sure Lancer will hold him up maybe for a little bit. I wonder what Kirei has to fight against a servant. Because I'm sure he could probably go toe-to-toe with Shiro, no problem. But Saber might be a bit much. Gilgamesh just watched us go, not trying to follow us.
なんだ。セーバーはてめえの獲物じゃなかったのか。
Oh? So Saber wasn't your target? I think it's more that he didn't like how you looked at him funny this once, so he's more than willing to oblige your bullshittery.
いいや、実はな、俺もこのような決着は好みではなかった。
Yep.
貴様がやらなければ、俺が同じことをしていただろう。
He's not much of a team player, that Gilly. He's definitely a I'll fight all of you type of person. To be honest, such a match did not suit my taste. If you'd not done this, I would have done the same thing. We go up the stairs. She's worried about me, so we aren't going up that fast. Ignoring our slow pace, the confrontation underground escalates without limits. Did Kirei escape upstairs? I kind of thought he went downstairs. Maybe I wasn't paying proper attention. Whatever. Are we following Kirei? Nah. The murderous intent continues to grow.
どういうことだそりゃ。てめえもセーバーを逃がすつもりだったのか。
Oh? Does Kirei have some crazy plan that Gilly knows about and it was all part of the plan? What do you mean by that? Did you intend to let Saber go as well?
当然だろう。俺にセイバーを殺す気はない。
There it
あれ
is.
は俺のものだ。
Of course. I had no intention to kill Saber. That thing is mine. That thing. Still calling her a thing. Are we still close enough to hear this? I thought we were going up the stairs. I guess we can barely hear it from our peripherals. This doesn't seem like an intermission, not yet.
だが、聖杯を呼ぶためにはそういうわけにもいかん。
But I cannot stay idle if I want the Holy Grail. And you're gonna use that to make her yours or something?
儀式の完成にはあと一人
Ah.
サーバントに死んでもらわなければならぬからな
It was always gonna be Lancer for you, I guess. I need just one more servant to die for the ritual to be completed. Yeah. 1,000 swords appear. The Golden Knight grins. That's why he was able to block Lancer's surprise attack. Yeah, he was going in for it in the first place. Lancer wasn't the only one trying to launch a surprise attack on his ally. It's not that Gilly blocked, it's that he was attacking at the same time and they clashed. Oh, Gilly.
初めからそのつもりかよ
So this was your plan all along. Damn.
言ったであろう貴様がしなければ俺がそうするつもりだった
I mean, that's what I predicted anyways, even if Lancer hadn't joined our side. I told you. I would have done the same thing if you had not done so.
褒めてやるぞクーフーリ
Hmm.
これは俺
There's the
にとっ
name.
て理想の展開だ
You deserve praise, QQ Lane. This situation is ideal for me. The distance between the two decreases. Ideal for him. It's what? It's a good little climactic way to end things. Get rid of the third wheel Lancer and then go after his waifu in a climactic fight against her husbando Shiro. Now that she thinks she likes him more than ever, now's the perfect way to tear her away from him. Before I see them clash, we leave that place. Yeah, I expected him to die off screen. I didn't think we would see it happen. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Oh, what got updated in the status screen? Oh, wise up. Master. Oh, to be fair, it would all be new. That's true. Kotomine Akira. Gilgamesh. Male. Chaotic good. Details. Yeah. Skills. Charisma A+. Divinity P+. Nova Phantasm. Rank. E to A. That's right. It can be multiple things, which is weird. Star of Creation. Split heaven and earth. And then what about Lancer? Kotomine Akira. Artoria, true name, wise up. Let's get all the wise ups out of the way. There's gonna be any wising up. Let's wise up so that we're no longer a fool. Okay, we got some wise up. We got some wise up. Great. I think we've fully wised up. Oh, the assassin wise up too. We don't need to assassin wise up? Berserker wise up? Cool. Alright, great. I think we got all the wise ups. Alright. Ugh. I stop. My body tells me I'm at my limit.
シロ、ここで休みましょう。
Let us
これ以
rest
上はあ
here.
なたの体が持たない。
Shiro. You cannot continue in your current condition. I mean, we're still not that far away from the fight, but I suppose. Do we need to snuggle some more so that I can recover harder if that's how it works? Proximity? Does proximity matter? Maybe to some extent. That's why I maybe died when Saber wasn't around the rider, because it's related to Saber. So I'm always close to Saber when my immortality kicks in, maybe.
そうだな悔しいけどこれじゃセイバーに迷惑をかける一
Yeah,
方だ
I'm just causing you trouble like this. I move away from Saber and sit down in the grass. No, you gotta stay as close to Saber as possible for your full Saber sexualness to kick in. Dash. Lancer got that battle continuation seal, so I assume he can last for a bit. Let me check. Status. Lancer. Skills. Battle continuation A. Does not give up easily. It allows for battle even on the verge of death and allows users to stay alive until they receive a clearly fatal blow. What's this? Restart C. Ability to escape battle. Also return unfavorable battle at the beginning. Turn 1. And restore the conditions of techniques to their initial states. Yeah, he can probably stall for a bit in that case. Still, though, he's getting killed off screen, let's be honest. Dash. The wound on my chest is still there. It stopped bleeding, but the hole is still there.
気持ち悪い。
I feel sick. Even though the pain is gone, I have a hole in my body. Just looking at it makes me sick, and I wonder why I'm alive like this.
シロ、傷を見せてください。
Sure, let me look at your wound. Gil needs to fully blow Ku's heart and head for starters. Just for starters, heart and head. Then we'll move on to the next stage of what he needs to do. No, it's alright.
では失礼します。少し痛みますが、
Oh?
耐えてください。
Excuse me, this will hurt a bit, but please bear it. This will hurt a bit? What are you about to fucking do, Saber? Saber's fingers run across my chest. Giggity. Then, I don't know why, but she places her hand over my wound and digs into it. Uh-oh. It's hurting. It's hurting. What are you doing? My body jumps. Saber's hand mercilessly digs into me and...
何？
You... What? She's digging into me with her bare hands. This is kind of gross, but I think I trust you at this point. You could have killed me. You did in the other timeline. It should hurt. What is she digging for? Is she digging for the sheath that's within me? Is she digging for the grail that's within me and not Elio? She clearly knows something about me. Is there like a shard of the sheath, or what is this? It should hurt, but... Huh? There's no pain. Yes, proximity. Now that she's within me, I heal the mostest. Rather, pain seems to disappear around the places Saber touches. She's my magical heal-all, and she was supposed to be a Saber, but no, she's the white mage.
終わりました、シロ。鞘に魔力を補充しましたから、半日もすれば傷は癒えるでしょう。
I know Lancer fucks up magic, right? Hold on. Hold on. Magic resistance? No, Noble Phantasm. Pierce the opponent's heart. Surely, true nature reveal the cause, where the cause of the Lancer's throw so bad, boo. Dance the Lance, so you dodge, but I did. One needs high jump, but still the most efficient, requires little magical. I thought there was something about reducing, ignoring magic, but I can't look into all that right now. I remember there's memories about people like ignoring magic when piercing the Gabolg, and that's because Saber had some magical healing, and that was sort of ignored because of Gabolg's properties. Anyways, I'm done, Shiro. I restored magical energy to the sheath, so your wound should heal in half a day. Again, the fucking sheath that's just inside me? How does that work? Can you explain to me how that works, woman? Half a day, huh? Taking her hand off my chest, Saber looks relieved. Can you explain what I am now? What's going on?
鞘。
Sheath? I don't understand at all.
セイバー、鞘ってなんだ？前もそんなことを言ってた気がするけど、もしかしてその鞘ってお前の鞘のことか？
Saber, what do you mean by sheath? I think you mentioned it before, but could it be your sheath? The sheath from the Excalibur legend? The one that's like super indestructible or whatever? How would I have your sheath? So you weren't being metaphorical? How did you know that? How did you know I had your sheath? Saber's sheath. The sheath of the sword Excalibur. The sheath of her sword is not invisible air. In the legend, the sheath of Excalibur was noble phantasm that makes its possessor immortal. So you're immortal, but only sometimes. Only when near Saber. How does it work? She shouldn't have that. She shouldn't, but you do somehow. How? King Arthur died in the Battle of Camlan because that sheath was lost. So, you got reincarnated through the ages and now you have because you're the descendant of the guy who stole it? What? Saber shouldn't have the sheath right now, unless that was part of the Grail, is that, I wish for my sheath! So it went inside Shiro?
はい。私の鞘はあなたの体の中にあります。
Yes, my
そ
sheath
れを
is
確信
inside
した
your
のが先
body.
だというのは私の落ち度でしたが。
It was my fault for not realizing that fact until last night. How? Explain.
俺の体の中に。バカな。そんな突拍子もない話が。
In my body? That's ridiculous. There's no way. I don't doubt it. It makes sense. But how? Why? How?
そうでしょうか。思えば簡単なことだったのです。シロは私を召喚した。今までそれを偶然だと考えたことが
Is that
愚
so?
かでした。
It was simple from the beginning. You summoned me, Shiro. It was foolish of me to think it was by chance that I was summoned. It's true that I know Kiritsugu had something important when he summoned her. I thought that was the sheath. Did that sheath somehow get passed on to Shiro? How did it fucking end up inside Shiro? That doesn't really click with me. I mean, I knew there was some funakkery going on because the summoning circle, he never set it up. So that was funakkery, but the sheath, like, how did it go when they did the summoning? Did also the magical thing put the sheath inside of him? How does that even work?
英霊を呼ぶには英霊にゆかりがあるシンボルがなければならない。マスターとしての知識もなく、魔術師としても未熟だったシローが私を呼ぶには、それを補ってあまりある接点がなければならない。
One needs a symbol connected with that spirit. Since you are inexperienced as a magus and uneducated as a master, you need a connection that would overcome all those deficiencies. I assumed it could have been just an amazing circle that was set up perfectly by whoever set it up because we fucking didn't. But, I guess the sheath is involved too. How? Explain?
それが私の鞘。失われたエクスカリバーの鞘
That
だっ
was
たん
my
です。
sheath, the lost sheath of Excalibur. Okay, how is it inside me?
いや、それはそうかもしれないけど。
That may be true, but...
だから、なんだってそんなも
Yes,
の
thank
が
you.
俺の中にあるんだ。
Thank you for asking the important question. Why would it be in my body?
それはおそらくキリツグが行ったことでしょう。
Excuse me? I do vaguely remember Kiritsugu having a sheath. I didn't think it was the actual... I guess that's what it was, but like how... What do you mean he put it in there? He used a magical technique and put it in there? Why? Kiritsugu didn't want Shiro to be part of the wars, right? Right? Maybe he expected it might happen because of Shiro's heroic nature? Why? What? Well, who set up the circus? There was definitely a fucking circle. I'm not crazy. There was a circle, and Shiro didn't set it up. What was the point of putting the sheath in there? In him? Because it only seems to trigger around Saber, unless that's not true. Maybe it does trigger in general, but it does need willpower? I don't know. It feels weird. What do you mean he put it in there? And what does that have to do with him being full of blades? Was he, like, magically kerbombled? Why are the blades in his body? Is that because he's secretly a sheath and that makes his bones blades and his skin is the sheath?
前回の戦いでエミやキリツグは
I
エ
do
クス
remember
カリ
that.
バーの鞘を触媒にして私を召喚した。聖剣の鞘は持ち主の傷を癒す宝具です。
I didn't
キリツ
remember...
グはそれを私に返すより自身が持っていた方が有利と判断したのでしょう。
I don't remember if she ever really used that sheath in battles to heal her wounds or not. I don't remember that. I don't remember if Kiritsugu ever really used the sheath to heal any wounds. But, I do remember he had a sheath. I didn't remember if it was meant to be Excalibur's sheath, but based on the story, it was lost. I guess he found it. It clicks, it makes sense, but... It just feels like we're still missing a step here. Emi and Kiritsugu used the sheath of Excalibur as the catalyst to summon me in the last war. The sheath is a noble phantasm that heals the possessor's wounds. He must have thought that it would be more useful for him to keep it. Okay. Okay. It still works without you powering it? It just works for any Magus, or...
私には治癒能力があるし、死ににくい。
I have healing powers and I do not die easily, but that's because of your servantness, not because of your sheath.
それより死にやすいマスターが鞘を持つ方が戦いには勝ち残れる。
If the master who dies easily has the sheath, they have a better chance of surviving the Holy Grail war. Okay. But, like, I have died in certain endings. So it seems like it only triggers when you are around? Then how would that... That's the thing. If it only triggers when she's around, then how would that ever fucking help Shiro? Because he... From Kiritsugu's perspective, why do that operation or whatever if he's never even going to run into Saber? Because Kiritsugu would have wanted him to stay away from the war, I think. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't want him to be involved with it. And if he never runs into Saber, why do that? I don't know. Just seems like, what's the point? I don't know. Maybe they'll explain.
じゃあ親父も今の俺と同じような状態で戦いを勝ち残ったってわけか。
That fucking freaked me the fuck out. Okay, we got a disconnection, I guess. It doesn't seem to make full sense why Kiritsugu would do that if it only works when I'm near Saber, and it clearly doesn't work all the time. If it only works when I'm near Saber, I don't see why he would go through the trouble of doing some weird operation. And he definitely wouldn't have expected me to be part of the Grail War, but... Father survived the war because he was like me. I don't think that's true at all. Because, no, he was very different from you. He only became a goody-goody guy after the fact. I don't even remember him really making use of that sheath, to be honest. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I don't believe he ever used it. Beyond just the summoning. Because I believe it was provided to him by the Einsburns. I didn't even think he would have kept that sheath. I want to say the Einsburns gave it to him, and then they just kept it. I didn't think he got to keep it, but I guess I'm wrong?
おそらくは。そして戦いが終わり、私が消えた後。
Probably, and after the battle and after I disappeared. I definitely don't remember that, but I'll take your word for it. I don't remember him surviving any crazy injuries as a result of that sheath. I don't remember him using the sheath at all, but I don't know. Could be a Fate Zero snafu. Or, you know, Saber's just wrong.
キリツグは焼け跡の中をさまよい、死にかけている子供を見つけた。キリツグには治療の力はありませんでしたし、
Oh,
あったところで、
okay.
手の施しようが
There's
なか
some
ったので
logic
しょう。
there. Kiritsugu wandered through the burned field and found a dying child. He had no healing powers, and even if he did, I assume it was too late. Maybe I did forget a lot, Wise. He had no healing powers, and even if he did, I assume it was too late. So he decided to meld the sheath together with Shiro? Oh. So, based on what you guys are saying, I guess Kiritsugu did use the sheath. I don't remember him ever using the sheath. But okay, I guess he did use the sheath. And then he melded it together with Shiro so that he could save him. Huh. Alright. But wait, how did it work when Saber wasn't around? Because Saber would have been shunted back at that point. So why does it work sometimes and not other times? It feels like it's his connection to Saber that does it. But clearly that can't be entirely true. Maybe Kiritsugu connected indirectly. It can't be just based on will. I guess it could be based on willpower because at the time he just wanted to live. Why did a random kid manage to survive a Grail fire? Yeah, it's true. Nobody else around him did. I mean, you know, I assumed it was because he was already secretly a powerful servant from that point. Not because there was a sheath in him, but okay, I guess that makes sense. Like, how did he even survive long enough for Kiritsugu to run into him? I guess if he was truly wishing he was alive at that point, then that could be based on willpower, which means maybe the sheath was responding to his willpower to save him. Just feels a little inconsistent at this point, but I guess if it is based on willpower, then he could have had the willpower to live at that point, only regretting it afterwards. I guess there's logic there. Alright.
だから、その子供を助ける手段は、彼には一つしかなかったと思うのです。
So I believe there was only one way for him to save that child. Dash, 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 dash. I unconsciously placed my hand on my chest. What? Did for my body survive, my heart died? Oh, what is that, literal? He doesn't have a heart anymore? His heart is the sheath? That doesn't make logical sense. Or maybe the sheath is protecting his heart? On that day 10 years ago, I accepted death looking up at the sky. My whole body was burned, and maybe it was really was burned to ashes. When Kiritsugu found a kid barely alive, he had to rely on what he had on hand. The sheath of the holy sword that protects the life of its possessor. He must have saved that dying life by implanting the sheath. How did he do that? I don't remember Kiritsugu. I mean, it's not like he couldn't do magic, but he had a very specific kind of magic. I guess he could have done it.
じゃあ、本当に?
Then it really is. But if it's just meant to protect me, then how am I so good at summoning the swords? because you're the sheaths, you can pull the sword out. But like, if I'm Excalibur sheath, that doesn't explain how I can pull out Caliburn, because that's the wrong sword for the sheath. I guess this could give me a lot more magical power because it's a magical sheath, so it could just be that. But it feels like if the idea is, oh, you're the sheath, you can pull out the sword, but I'm pulling out the wrong fucking sword, you know? I feel like that's like, I'm cheating on Excalibur by pulling out Caliburn with Excalibur's sheath, right? I mean, I don't know. Swords and projections seem to be a different thing. Are they? Does that mean there's still some other creepy, crazy stuff going on with, Shiro? Because I feel like, you know, I'd be surprised. I feel like they generally put it all in one, but I guess there could be multiple levels of creepy. I guess that is part of what weirds me out, is that I feel like there's so much more crazy stuff that isn't really explained just by the sheath giving him immortality-ish. So that's why I'm like, wait, that's what it is? But I guess there could just be multiple explanations for why he's so fucked up. Layers, I guess. There could just be layers. There could just be layers.
はい。分解され、原型をとどめてはいませんが、確かにシローの中には鞘があります。それがあなたの治癒能力の源です。
It has been disassembled and lacks its original form, but your body certainly contains the sheath. It is the cause of your healing powers. Dying from the roof with the swords poking out leads to the swords being separate. Scabbard power works without Toria, as inside only little bleh. Anyways, is the cause of your healing power. I guess there was the time where he got knocked out and fell to the floor without Saber around. He saw his body was just swords. Doesn't really make sense his body is swords just because he is a sheath. So I suppose there is something more to that. I guess.
けど俺一度死にかけたぞ。学校でランサーに刺されてそれで。
But I almost died once. I was pierced by a lancer at school, and do you really remember that? I mean, I guess you remembered the before and after. You were saved by Rin, which I don't know if Saber knows, but I mean, you almost died several times later, and your freaking healing power saved you. So that's right. Someone saved me at that time. Why couldn't the sheath save you? Couldn't it just be the sheath that saved you? When I came to, there was no one there, and all I found was a rock. Yeah, Rin never fessed up to you about that, so you don't actually know about that whole shindig. I took the rock home because I thought it was something important. But is it still at my house right now? Oh, the pendant? She just left it behind? I'm trying to remember. I thought that it was like a memento, but I guess she didn't care anymore once it was out of power. I suppose that's true. So the memento didn't mean much. You know, I don't remember the name of Rin's father. What Rin's father really left behind was the must fight in the war honor mentality. Are we gonna go back to our house to find the thing that was used? Maybe it still has all its juice left. Maybe it was never actually used up because he healed himself with his power.
それは私と契約する前の話でしょ。
That was before we made a contract, correct? Why would that matter if the frickin' sheath saved me during the fire incident? Weren't you gone by then? We clearly didn't have a contract then either.
鞘は私の宝具です。私が限界し、魔力を注がなければ宝具としての能力を発揮しない。シロは私というサーバントと契約しなければ、その不死身性を得られないのです。
We think it wasn't pointless. The sheath is my noble phantasm. It does not exhibit its powers, noble phantasm, till magical energy is channeled into it. You cannot obtain your immortality unless you make a contract with me. Except I had it back when Kiritsugu gave to me. So, you're a lying bitch. I guess Kiritsugu could have channeled the magical energy into it at that point, but... I mean... Okay, it feels a little inconsistent, but okay. Also, if it's just based on the contract, it should have triggered in other points where I got a dead end. So that also seems consistent, but okay.
まあ多少は魔力さえ注げば持ち主の命を保護するでしょう。ですが、それも微弱なものです。
I'm sure it protects the possessor's life.
死にかけた人間を救うには
if any
鞘
magical
そのも
energy
の
is
と
in
同
it,
化させるしかなかったはずです。
but it'll be weak. I'm sure fusing with the sheath was the only way to save a dying person.
そうか。すまん、セイバー。お前の鞘をこんなことで使っちまって。
I see. I'm sorry, Saber. Your sheath was used for something like this. No, she'd be happy.
何を言うのです。シローは私のマスターなのですから。私のものを使うのは当然ではないですか。
Please do not say such a thing. You're my master, so it's only natural for you to use what is mine. Duh, that sounds kinky.
それに、シローがそうなのだと知って、私は嬉しかった。何も守れなかった私でも、
Thankfully, you didn't kill me this time and waste the thing you saved. She's got a cute smiling face. I was happy when I learned about it. Even though I could not save anybody, I had saved your life. You couldn't save anybody, you mean from your country? You know, I mean from the fire? I suppose. I feel like we've saved people. We saved the people from Shinji during the school incident, so... Also, even though it's your sheath, I suppose, and the first time we saw it trigger was against Berserker where you were around and wanted to protect him, I guess that makes sense. But I mean, you're taking credit. It was Kiritsugu that initially did it, even if you have sort of channeled it and made it work since. Seems the sheath got normal healing power, but when he's like close to Saber, he gets that immortal body. I guess, but it's still like before the dragon sex though, like it would trigger against Berserker, for example. Even though they didn't properly have their connection, just seems kind of weird. Because they did that whole plot line about how we're not properly connected, so we have to do dragon sex to connect ourselves. And yet, it's still triggered before that, which just seems kind of weird and inconsistent. Like, oh, you have to do the dragon sex to properly connect yourselves. But you're already connected such that the sheath can do its magic. Why were they not connected in the first place if the sheath was giving them a through line? And if it wasn't giving them a through line, how did the sheath work? I feel like there's some technicalities that I don't understand that I would like explained. Dash, dash, dash. Wasn't the problem before Dragon Sex that Saber didn't get any energy, but Shiro got the energy back? Oh, is that true? That's why Rin was... Oh, yeah, I do remember Rin was like, maybe that's why you get the powers. You're siphoning her power. Okay. I guess that's fair. I guess it could have been going from Saber to Shiro. I suppose. But Shiro not to Saber? Okay. Alright, that's fair. But I feel like, isn't her magical energy the thing that's powering it in the first place? I guess it still works. I guess, but doesn't she have to... But if the contract is what's important, I don't know. I guess that's true. If it was going the one way, then I suppose it would have worked. It just feels like, yeah, every time he uses that, it would drain Saber theoretically if it's her sheath. And then it would have to go back, they'd have to do the dragon sex. It's still weird that after the dragon sex, that suddenly Shiro awakened his magical Caliburn powers even stronger. That's still weird and isn't really explained by the sheath, I don't think, but alright. Her smile is so brilliant that I have to look away. I can see that.
Shiro, 傷が痛むのですか?
Does your wound hurt, Shiro?
いや、そうじゃない。いいんだ、気にしないでくれ。セイバーは何も悪くない。
That's not it. Just don't worry about it. There's nothing wrong with you. There's just something wrong with me. Hide my blushing face and shut my mouth. Duh, that's cute. You want to get out of the cemetery now? Because you're probably still in range for Gilly to show up at any moment. Meanwhile, Gilly fighting Lancer. Lancer's like, I'm dying in here. I'm dying in here. And we're just out here having this, little romantic moment. It's Let's not think about that, though. That's why it's off screen. Saber seems to not be connecting the sheath to the insane projection abilities. Hide my blushing face. There's no pain if I don't speak, but this is really awkward. I wonder how long we've been like this. Too long! Long enough that Lancer might have been killed already, and Gilly could be coming after us at any time. Yeah, there was the contract and they fixed the mana flow. I guess. I just like to be a little ninny that complains about things. Just as I start to calm down, Saber quietly says, Uh-oh.
キリツグは正しかった。彼は私を裏切ってなどいなかったのですね。
Kiritsugu was correct. He did not betray me. Oh, I do remember she said earlier that Kiritsugu has betrayed me like a douche when he destroyed the Grail. But I guess that's because she didn't know at the time the Grail was a jerky jerk thing. And now you know. She says so as if regretting her past. Aw. regrets not being able to properly, you know, she never really had a good relationship with Kiritsugu, and they definitely ended on bad terms. So all you can do is, you know, help out his offspring for the future.
セイバ
Aww.
あの聖杯は私の求めるものではなかった。いいえ、元より聖杯など必要ではなかったのです。
That Holy Grail
キリツグはそれに気がついていたのでしょう。
was not what I sought. No, I did not need the Holy Grail to begin with. Kiritsugu must have known that. I mean, he had the same kind of sexist feel of, it's a girl? What? Ooh. So, I mean, there is that. I don't know if he really dug too deeply into you. I think at the time he was more focused on his own baggage, that he didn't really want to care much about your baggage. Maybe, though. Maybe that's why he didn't interact with you, is because he was still trying to shut himself off. And he didn't want to risk getting any kind of close bond, even if it was supposed to be a close bond. Possibly. Her murmur sounds more like a confession. I'm definitely thinking Saber's thinking too positively of Kiritsugu. I mean, I think it's fair for her to think positively now. Now that she's interacted so much with Shiro after how much, you know, how Shiro, you know, was raised by Kiritsugu, Saber's probably like, you know, I was too hard on Kiritsugu. Not really. I mean, he was kind of a dick at the time, let's be honest. Saber apologizes to a person she cannot apologize to anymore. He did the thing that you need to do now. He fucked up during most of his life, but then afterwards he was like, now time to be a good person. So this is now your time, Saber. Start being a good person. She looks at me, to part with the wishes she held for so long. With the wish. And if she saw Shiro's past, she saw Dad Kiritsugu. That's true, so she would have some bias towards the Kiritsugu she knew during her time. Even though the bias is very... I mean, it's... Her interactions with Kiritsugu and her opinion of him at the time were not wrong. But what he's been since then, and what he was for Shiro, is also not wrong. She doesn't say anything. My heart understands just by being beside her. Aww. The girl, Artoria, before she pulled the sword. In a sexist maid outfit. Artoria sought the Holy Grail. A lonely king who needed to believe the ruin was unavoidable with the Holy Grail. That ruin. If. A girl who wished for what would happen if she could redo this election.
セイバー、それは
Saber, that's...
分かっていました。やり直しなんてできないのだと。
I knew it. I knew I could not redo things. Even if you knew, you still kind of tried.
私はそれを知りながら必死に自身を偽り続けてきたのです。
You and Shiro really are alike then. You were deceiving yourself about different things. I knew it. I knew I could not redo these things. I knew it, but I still continued to deceive myself. But this is the end. Her long battle will finally end.
ありがとう、シロ。あなたのおかげでようやく取るべき道が
Thank
分
you,
かり
Shiro.
ました。
I finally understand the path I need to take.
ええ。あの聖杯もこの私もありえてはいけない
Excuse me?
夢だったのです。
The Holy Grail and I are just dreams that must not exist. The Holy Grail maybe is a dream that shouldn't exist. Your whole thing about erasing yourself from existence, you're not still on that, right? You should exist. You exist now, so keep existing. She murmurs that she would still like to be forgiven. Forgiven, not forgotten. It was a mistaken wish. Days that were not to be wished for, but... The weakness was just a passing dream a girl saw. That girl fucking killed me for that dream, you know. Dashes, dashes, dash. What should I feel listening to her? Saber's answer is beautiful. Decision full of dignity and purity just like her. Of course you fucking Saber's lusty luster buster. Just fucking kiss her already. You already did once. Do it again. Too soon? Would it be awkward with Lancer, you know, probably dying at the moment? Saber is just planning to die normally now? I don't think Shiro wants that either. Maybe die normally after living a proper life, but that won't happen if she just disappears after the Grail War's over. She's proud of her past and has accepted the end that awaits her. And now, Saber's decided to follow her oath until the very end. Dash, 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 dash. She doesn't even need to tell me what that means. She will not hesitate any longer. And I find that beautiful. Not hesitate at what any longer? We can do the dirty dance down below, or is that what we're talking about, you know, when we go there? Because otherwise it's like, she's just gonna disappear, even if she doesn't do the dumb wish. I mean, Shiro isn't necessarily gonna get what he wants, but I guess if we win the war, she can just do the basic wish. A dark night. From that moment I was captivated by her figure in the moonlight. I have loved her. So, regardless of what awaits ahead, there's only one thing to be done.
Saber. 聖杯を壊そう。
I guess that's one way. Finish what Daddy Dearest started. Saber, let's destroy the Holy Grail. Still, I mean, you tried that last time. You caused the big fire and Saber went poof. So, that sounds like it might not be great. It might not be great. Arguably, I guess Kirei touched it and that apparently happened and we didn't see it. I think we didn't see it. Maybe it happened and we saw it. I don't fucking know. Maybe that had something to do with it. But I feel like destroying the Holy Grail is reckless. Because, you know, Saber might just instantly die at that point. And I guess Shiro's not really thinking ahead. But, use your noggin, Shiro. Maybe this is him being mature and not being a Saber-sexual now that Saber's given up on her wish. I guess that could be fair. But, if you really do care the most about Saber, granted, that would be a selfish wish, arguably. The kind of thing a rail would fulfill, but if you really do care the most about her, then, Alright, Evil Grail Final Boss. Think Saber, when she comes back to that hill, will just close her eyes? That still sounds sad in its own right, but I guess it's better than... Is it? Debatable. I think it is debatable, but I don't think her choice is wrong. Did that awkward thing again where I had to double check my recording to make sure I had switched scenes properly. Of course I did, and I knew I did, but I had to double check anyway because I'm a derp. I do think Shiro, even if he's still saber-sexual, earned a real important skill in the basement. The ability to let go and move on. The ability to let go of Saber, then? That's a big woof. That'll be very mature of him if he actually is able to let go of Saber here. He was able to let go of the past, finally. But wasn't the idea that Saber he wanted to be his future, or is he willing to accept that that too is fleeting? Even if it is, you gotta at least do a bit of a make-out before That'll be a bit of a bittersweet ending if she does wither away in the posthumous. Saber, let's destroy the Holy Grail. I say so, throwing aside my attachment and my selfishness. Throwing aside your selfishness. He really is. Okay. Aw. Good for you, Shiro, but also, aw.
はい。あなたならそう決断すると信じていました。
Yes.
マスター。
I believe that you would come to that conclusion, Master. As long as destroying the Grail doesn't mean, you know, killing Ilya or anything, because, no, please. Saber nods in response. I can't smile back at her. It takes all I have to suppress my heart telling me I don't want this. But still, there will surely come a day when I can be proud of being trusted like this. Yeah. Yeah. Good for you, Shiro. Dash, 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 dash. I get up. Now that I've decided, there's no time to rest. It's clear what must be done, and the enemy is clear as well. There's no time to stop. All along, he did want Saber's wish to, like, stay here with him. That's what she wanted her to use the wish on. But now that they know the Grail's like a jerk face, the only real mature thing to do is set that aside as well, I guess. There's no time to stop. Today we will end this long battle before tomorrow comes. In-universe. Out-of-universe, it's probably going to take another day, honestly. But, oh, what's this? What's happening? With Saber helping me walk, I make it back home. Yeah, we're clearly building up to the climax. We're going to have some big showdown with Gilly. Lancer's totally dead at this point. The wound on my chest hasn't healed yet. According to Saber, I should stay still for at least a few more hours. Okay, a few more hours we'll set up then. We're gonna touch back with Rin and Ilya then, before the big comeuppance. But also, Ilya, are you okay? Ooh. Dash. I bite my lip. I hate my body, unable to move when it's clear what it needs to be done.
シロ、何か今よからぬことを考えませんでしたか？
Were you considering something rash just now? Oh? I hate my body. What needs to be done? Oh, as always, he wants to sacrifice himself, somehow let Saber continue on? Is that what you mean?
いや、別に何も考えてないぞ。
No, I wasn't thinking about anything.
まったく、あまり無茶を言うと怒りますからね。
He does tend to take things on himself because he's, protective of you. But at this point, I would think the maturity... He is fighting back the urge, I suppose. I'll get angry if you push yourself too hard.
戦いは傷が完治してからです。最後の戦いになるのですから、お互い万全の体制で臨みましょう。
We'll go into battle as soon as your wound heals. This will be our last battle, so let's face it in our best condition. It is weird how Assassin is the only master in this pathway that was just, ignored. He just got killed off screen. It's just kind of weird. Again, though, after what I saw coming back up to this pathway in the, the between recap episodes, I saw you can apparently just skip the part where Ryder dies. Did I somehow just skip the part where Assassin dies? Don't answer that. At least not yet. It's just weird, because if you can just skip it, that's just weird. But if I can't just skip it, it's also weird that they have 7 servants, but in the first pathway, they're just like, nah, you didn't see it in this one. It's just, you just did off screen. They have a cool setup moment with him. You think you're gonna face him again, it just doesn't happen. That's still very weird to me, but let's face it in our best condition.
そうだな。焦るより今は準備を整えないと。
We have to prepare and not be impatient. Where Kotomine went. How we beat Gilgamesh. There are many things to think about. I have to rest for now and prepare myself for later tonight. At that instant, my mind stops. Uh-oh. Huh? There's no sign of anyone. Oh no, Rin, Ilya. Oh no. What, Kira? Because he went to get the... Oh no. He's already doing a creepy creep. We thought there was going to be some downtime before the uptime. I think we're still in uptime. The air is different. There's blood footprints. Oh fuck. Amidst the smell of burning, I can also smell the strong scent of blood. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What did you do to me, game? What are you doing to me? Don't you kill one of my waifus. If anything, hopefully it's Rin. I mean, I like Ren too, but I like Ilya more. Dash. I run. I ignore my wound and run like I'm running away from the bad feeling I have, but you're running towards it this time. I run through the hall, turn the corner into the familiar room. You're gonna face it. You don't want it to be true, but you'll face it. Character development. There. The scene before me is anything but familiar. Rin! Did Kirai fucking fuck you up? Okay, it's only Rin. It's not Ilya yet. Okay, that's good. I'm sorry. If it had to be one of them, though. This pathway is really heating up if she's, dead. I don't know if she's dead, but she's definitely fucked up. So what? Kirai came in, Rin tried to protect her, and Kirai fucked her up? Wow. There's definitely some daddy issues Rin's gonna have to learn about and all that, but probably it's gonna be a more Rin-focused pathway. My voice shakes. I don't know what happened. All I know is that Tosaka's looking at me breathing weakly. She's not even dead! Alright!
やっと帰ってきた。まったく、もうちょっとで寝ちゃうところだったじゃない。
You're home at last. Jeez, I was about to go to sleep, you idiot. So Kirai has Ilya then? I don't know what she intends. But she's talking to me normally, even though she has a wound that should make even talking difficult. And she doesn't have, I guess she doesn't have the, sheath powers to fucking regenerate and all that shit like we do.
喋るなバカ。くそ、とにかく血を止めないと。セイバー、風呂場からタオルとお湯と洗面器。
Don't talk, you idiot! Damn, I have to stop the bleeding. Saber, bring me towels, hot water, a bowl! Saber nods silently and runs to the bathroom. Oh, Rin, I guess, does have some jewels left, using them to regen. I know she used a lot of them on Berserker, but I suppose she has some left to potentially save herself from this.
包帯と血止め。血止めだけで済むかバカ。医者を呼んでどうにかしないと。
You are a doctor, Shiro. Can you somehow use your doctor powers on other people? That would be convenient. Bandages and Stipic. No, they won't do. Doctor, I have to get a doctor juice. Oh, unless you try to actually give the sheath to her. I mean, that's one thing you could do if you really want to make the heroic sacrifice. Maybe the right thing is to try and then for Rin to stop you? No, not the money. I have to use the money to heal myself. Oh no, I do remember that. That was a fun exchange. I pull out the first aid kit still in a panic. Because, I mean, you could always do what Kira did and transfer the thing, but you're still healing, so that makes it awkward. So you couldn't just do that. No, I treated my own wound, so I don't need a doctor. You didn't treat it the best, clearly. Maybe you treated it to the point where you won't die, but you're still pretty fucked up. Something more important, though, right? Is it Ilya? What? Tosaka stares at me, breathing hard. I don't know what she's on about. But I nod, thinking that I have to listen to her for now. Are you really okay? This is... Is she lying? Maybe she's lying. It's fine, I can treat my own wounds. Maybe she just doesn't want Shiro to worry about her. And she knows she can't, but she doesn't want Shiro to realize the truth in this way. I think Rin is going to be out of commission for the final fight. She might even be dead for the final fight. Kind of depends on how this interaction goes. Rin never really helped us in any fight except the one Berserker one that Archer was involved in. Despite our partnership, we were only really partnered when I was kidnapped. Because I guess she thought I was somehow fucked up. Because she confronted Saber and was like, there's something fucking fucked up about him. So that's maybe why she didn't help me. Doesn't mean she didn't like me though, I guess. But she didn't help me much. Which I still think is suspect, but... Yeah. I'm sorry. You went off trusting me. But I couldn't protect Ilya. Kirei came for her, huh? How heartless. If that's really what he did, because... What a douche! He was like raising you all along, and he's really willing to just do that? For his fun? Because he wants me to see what it's like because I don't know yet? For his fun? What a douche! That finally calms me down. Tosaka is injured. The living room is destroyed, but there's no Ilya. And Ilya should be here, but isn't. Kotomine did this? Dash. She nods. The guy who raised you all this time. What a fucking douche. I mean, yeah, you know, I thought it was kind of... He probably thought it was cute how, like, he was raising the daughter, the guy he killed, and that was all cute and stuff, and it was like, I'm such a prankster. But, you know, he could at least, you know, I guess maybe he thinks she's like a failed experiment because she doesn't even like him very much. Maybe he finds her not the most interesting. She still follows after her father doing the whole pride thing in the fight. And ultimately, maybe in the moment, the interest of the now is more important than any long term, and you'll worry about that after the fact. Find some other mentally unstable children to raise, I suppose. I don't even need to ask, since he's the only one left. You did anyway, though. Good to ask, just to be sure. Only Saber and I knew that Kotomina was our enemy. Must have been a complete surprise attack for Tosaka. Yeah, would have been nice if you were prepped for this in advance. I mean, Saber knew where she was going, but I guess she didn't have time to think, but still, would have been nice. Because the 7th Master happened to be her teacher and guardian. Ooh.
謝るな。いくらお前でも騙し討ちされたらどうしようもないだろ お前なんだかんだ言って琴峰を信頼してたしさ。
Don't apologize. Even you wouldn't be able to do anything if you were suddenly attacked. In spite of what you said, you trusted Kotomine.
そうね、正直甘く見てた。
Yeah,
自分一人でもなんとかなるって
I guess I was
うぬぼれてたみたい。
conceited, thinking I'd do everything myself. Alright, so, I mean, this chit-chat is great and all, but could you say where Ilya is first, before we get to any more chit-chat? What is the up with Ilya? Do you know where he went? Did he say anything? Knowing him, he would have told you where he was going to lure me. She coughs out blood. Crap, I can't let her talk.
話は後にしよう。今は動くな。
Will there be a later?
すぐに手当てをして休ませてやるから。
I mean, will there be a later if you're going after Ilya now? Are we on a clock here? Oh, let's talk later. Don't move for now. I'll treat your wounds and let you rest.
お願い。けどその前に伝えておかないとダメっぽい。
Oh, she was resisting at first. She was like, no, I've already healed. And now she's not resisting anymore. Yeah, please. But I have to tell you something first. Probably because of how insistent Shiro is being, she's finally giving in, I guess.
いいシロ。これが最後
Yeah,
の助言だから。
I think
き
she's
ち
a
んと聞きな
gonzo.
さい。
She's a gonzo, I think, the way she's talking. Last piece of advice. Please, I have to tell you something first. Look, Shiro, this is my last piece of advice to listen carefully. They won't kill Ren? I don't know how bittersweet the ending is. I mean, already losing Saber, who's our top waifu, that's already bittersweet enough. I mean, I feel like that we're going to a very dark ending regardless. If this game is you are meant to go in the paths in order, then it's okay for the ending to be kind of fucked, right? Assuming the last ending is the golden perfect, everyone's happy ending. Assuming that's a thing. We'll see. I feel like already giving up on Saber when Saber is the waifu is super dark already for this pathway. I feel like anything else is just adding to the spice. It's not anything, it's not a major step at this point. Listen carefully. Dash, dash, dash. I don't want to hear words like that. But I nod silently. She's looking at me seriously with that wound of hers. I don't know if anyone would be able to stop her.
まず一つ目。琴峰の目的はイリアよ。あの子が今回の聖杯の器だって、あいつは初めから知ってたんでしょうね。
First, Kotomina's objective was Ilya. He must have known from the beginning that she was the vessel of the Holy Grail.
イリアが聖杯。
Ilya's the Holy Grail?
正確にはあの子の心臓ね。魔術師っていうのは魔術回路を持った人間だけど、
To be more
イリアは魔
accurate,
術回路を人
her
間に
heart
した子なの。
is. So, her heart was born from the Grail? How do hearts work? How do people work? I guess we must have, perfected that whole people thing. Magi are people with magic circuits, but Ilya's a human made for a magic circuit. Makes sense why her magic control is so strong, and then if she is the circuit, I am the magic. Okay. Why do they have to grow up in human bodies? It's just weird. The girl you could grow it up in something more normal, like I don't know, I guess a human does grow and age, and the Grail could age with it, but I mean, how long does it take to age? It just feels weird that, I think I might have talked about this, like, it's coming out of Ilya now when she is a kid, and then it came out of her mother before when she was much older, and maybe that's why there's normally a certain amount of time between each Grail War, and the reason this one could happen so soon is Ilya is so naturally gifted, and so the Grail was finished sooner? I don't know.
サーバントが残り一人になった時、あの子自体が聖杯を下ろす器になると思う。
I think she'll become the vessel to summon the Holy Grail as soon as there is only one servant left.
じゃあイリアは琴峰に。
Then Kotomine took Ilya?
連れて行かれたわ。でも、セイバーがまだ健在なら道は開か
No,
な
we
い。
don't know that. He took her,
琴峰
but
だって器になるイリアをどうにか
as long as
しても
Saber's
ら
still alive, the path won't
えない
open.
はず。
Kotomine won't try to do anything to her. Yeah, that's assuming Kotomine is after any kind of regular wish. He wants more chaos and entertainment, which might involve threatening Shiro by doing something early. And I feel like he knows that I would know that. And if I don't act early, he might do something to her just to piss me off because he understands the connection. Now that he knows that I wasn't harboring her knowingly, he knows that I actually care about her to some extent, so he can threaten me like this. Dash, 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 dash. I can only hope so. I think that's a fool's hope. Answer isn't an easy servant to beat either. He can't match Gilgamesh, but he might be able to at least run away. He's totally fucking dying off screen, let's be honest. I can only hope so, but I can't tell Tosaka about that right now. Oh, that's right. I'll go save Ilya, so you can depend on me. That's right, because, you know, Lancer's gonna get killed by Gilly, and then there will just be one servant left. Because, you know, Kirei's a dirty cheater and all that. So, Rin, there is a clock that you just don't realize. Yeah. There's a clock that you just don't know about. And I guess we're gonna keep that from you so you don't do anything rash? I see. Then the second thing, maybe she used jewels to prolong her life, but only long enough she could tell Shiro these things, and then she's gonna die before we get a chance to heal her. The second thing. I think Kotomine is at the Ryudo Temple. Why there? That was an important spot for Assassin, I think, Caster, but now that they're both out of the picture, what would he go back there for? It's the best place to summon the Holy Grail. Is it? Because of the religiousness? We know he's out of the church already. He'll be out of the church already, so he has to be hiding in at that temple. So, my wound is supposed to be mostly healed, but the hole is still there, right? Or was that already healed? I know it's not bleeding anymore, but I wonder, would she not see any wounds on me? I'm surprised she wouldn't see anything and think, that hole looks like Lancer's, Gable. Did you fight? But I guess she's not really worried about that right now, but... It's just the idea that she thinks, oh, he'll be out of the church by now. It suggests that she doesn't know already that we encountered each other. All the ley lines are there, and all the souls coming to the temple. Oh, I guess that makes sense. I guess because it's all magically religious and stuff. It's magically religious. It's all part of a balanced breakfast. Magically religious. Okay. Kotomine is at Ryudo Temple, right? Must be hard for her even to move her neck now. But Tosaka gives a slight nod. Of course he is. This is the last thing. You won't be able to beat Kirei. Are you still gonna fight him? Obviously. The question. Why even ask? This question is not asked as a friend called Tosaka Rin, but as a magus who understands the situation. Well, fuck your truth and reality. I've already rejected reality with my sheath, and with my caliburn making, I'm already kind of some weird fucked up guy. And you know that, to some extent, based on the scene we saw where you were talking privately with Saber, so don't underestimate me, baby. Why bother? Really? Rin? Is there a way? Even so, Tosaka. Wait, what? Oh. Is this me asking her for advice? Okay, this is actually not what I was expecting. I thought it was just going to be, of course I'll face him, versus, I don't know. But that's not what this is doing. So now I'm a little conflicted, actually. I thought the choice was going to be an obvious, of course you choose to do it. But instead the choice is like, even so, it's like, even so, yes, I'll do it. And then the other thing is there a way? And that's me being less confident in asking for Tosaka for advice. I feel like now is not the time to ask Tosaka for advice. If she was going to tell us, she would just fucking tell us. I feel we just have to be confident. So, even so, Tosaka. For your honor as well. Dash, 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 dash. My answer is already decided. I have no chance of winning, and the situation is the worst possible. But still, I've faced worse odds than those before and come out on top.
戦う。奴には借りが山ほどある。
I'm gonna fight. I owe him for a lot.
何があろうと引くことはできない。琴峰綺麗は、エミやシロウが倒すべき敵だからな。
I can't back off no matter what. Kotomine Kirei is an enemy Emiya Shiro has to defeat. He is my supervillain that I've wanted all along. I have to settle things with him. As the one who survived 10 years ago the fire, it's only fitting. If he really is the one who caused it all along, then, all the more reason. Finish what your father started and kick his limey ass. And this time, finish the job. As one of the orphans. Oh yeah, and he fucked with all the orphans too, so, Kira's just been a big fucker. And as the son of Emiya Kiritsugu.
そう。なら、これあげる。ご信用のものだけど、
I see.
何もないより役に立つわ。
Then I'll give you this. It's just for self-defense, but it should be better than nothing. So I guess if I asked, is there a way, she would have probably given me this anyways, but I think she likes to be confident. So what is it then? I already have, for self-defense, I have the perfect thing for self-defense already with the sheath, but sure, humor me. Saying so Tosaka reaches behind her and takes out a dagger? This is all too familiar dagger. Is it? Maybe it's just because of my hiatus, but I'm blanking. It's a dagger for rituals, more than for battles. Oh, all too famous, not familiar. A magic wand shaped like a sword used to form magic circles and to affect physical divine mysteries. Oh, is he gonna, use it to even enhance his caliber and summoning even further? To go further beyond! Maybe. The word Azoth is carved into the jewel on the handle. Seems important, but I don't recognize it at the moment. The blade must be Tosaka's preference, as it's shorter than usual. The weapon, favored by a famous occult scholar who pretty much dominated the world, is called the Azoth Sword. It's like the proof of adulthood for a magus. It's like a gift you get for getting into school. Daw! She's like saying, "You're a real magus now, Shiro. You graduate my school because I was teaching you." That's almost cute. It is cute.
どうぞか、これは
You got to pass on your teachings. It wasn't traditional method, but hey, you got to be a teacher before you died in 5 seconds from now. This is...
見ればわかるでしょ。私の探検よ。宝石に比べれば微々たるものだけど、それでも気が向いた時には魔力を込めてた。レストって叫んで、ありったけの魔力を流し込めば発動するから。
You should be able to tell. It's my dagger. It's weak compared to my jewels, but I put magical energy in it from time to time. You can activate it by yelling "Lech" and putting as much magical energy into it as you can. Okay, thank you, Tosaka. I will use it as the final decisive way to beat him, maybe. Possibly. And clearly they're setting up lots of, flags for how could the fight go. Hopefully this is the definitive way we win the day. I would like to think so. It'd be good for your honor, especially if you're about to die, which you totally are. The dagger she gives me is heavy. Not physically, but the weight of memories Tosaka has in it.
調査か、いいのか、これは預かって。
Tosaka, is it really okay for me to take this?
いいのよ。綺麗に勝てないって分かって、最後まで隠し通したんだから。
It's fine. I realized I couldn't beat
このまま使わないの
Kirei,
も尺だし、あんたが使って。
so I hid this from him. I don't want it to go to waste, so go ahead and use it.
分かった。遠慮なくもらっとく。正直、
Alright,
武器は
I'll
大いに
take
越したことはない。
Usually the swords I'm making are much bigger, but small ones have their uses too, I suppose. Any additional weapon will be helpful.
なんだ、分かってるじゃない。なら、もういいかな。
Okay, you're pretty smart, then. Is it okay now? I don't want it to ever be okay, but if you're sure that you're done for, then alright, I give you permission to pass on if that's what you're asking.
いい加減、 もう眠くて眠くて。
I'm getting really sleepy already. She laughs awkwardly. Before I realize it, Saber is standing behind me waiting to treat Tosaka. Oh, right. She got the towels and all that. But I think both Shiro and Rin have had a mutual understanding at this point, silently without saying anything, that she's just gonna... It's too far gone. She wanted the fight. She wanted to fight the fight. And ultimately dying in the fight might have been her ideal in the long run anyways. If she couldn't husbando waifu Shiro, which she kind of wanted, but saw him slipping away to the Saber side of things. Maybe this was her ideal. It's a shitty ideal to think of, but all she wanted was the fight, and you got the fight, Rin. You happy now? Maybe, you know, the kind of the fucked up thing is I think she is. She enjoyed the time with Shiro. She liked getting to teach him. She liked getting to be the teacher role. She liked the friend role. She liked the waifu role. She liked getting, you know, female friends through Saber, Ilya. But what happened to Sakura? Can't wait for the Rin nap. Rin can't die. Sure.
寝ろ寝ろ。朝になったら起こしてやるから。そしたら腹いっぱい飯食わせてやる。
Yeah, go ahead. I'll wake you up in the morning. That'll make you a huge breakfast. Because I know you like my cooking so much.
そうする。
I think I'll do that. Then again, I mean, she's never been a great morning person. Maybe you don't want to wake her up that early, Shiro.
最後に。
Oh.
これは忠告じゃなくて命令。
And this isn't advice, it's an order. Yeah?
シロ、やるからに
Yeah.
は死んでも勝ちなさい。
Sure.
私が起きた時、あんたがくたばってたら許さないから。
Shiro, if you're gonna fight, you have to win. I won't forgive you if you're dead when I wake up. Sure. I mean, thankfully, this is one promise you'll never know if I keep, but I guess you could always haunt me. Then again, if I lose, I'll be dead too, so you'll be mad at me in the beyond world, if there is such a thing. She must be satisfied after saying all that. Tosaka falls asleep, sure, right after that. She looks so healthy that I feel stupid for worrying about her. Sure she does. I don't believe it. She totally just died. Don't even pretend. But, well, that was her way of cheering me on. No, I don't believe it. She's fucking dead. There's no way she didn't die just now. That was perfectly set up. That was her way of cheering me on, and she did share some of her courage with me.
任せとけ、Tosaka.
Leave it to me, Tosaka. I tell the sleeping Tosaka. Yeah, sure, sleeping, quote unquote. The board is all set. Now I just have to pass the few hours until my wound heals. Sure, you're supposed to be not ignoring the truth anymore. Don't ignore the truth that she just fucking died. I just have to pass a few hours until my wounds heal without regress. The date changes. Oh, you said you'd finish it before the date changed. You're a lying dirtbag. The date changes. We treated Tosaka, took her to her room, made dinner, and ate it silently. Yeah, treated her, quote unquote. Prepped her to be dead because she just died. That was a dying scene. What? You don't get to pretend like she didn't just die after having the perfect death for her. If she wasn't meant to die there, you did that wrong.
あと少し。
A little longer. The wound is almost healed. There's only an hour or two left. In the remaining time, oh, fuck. Spend time with Saber. Do I still need Saber points? Go and report to Kiritsugu. Oh, that's cute. Have a strategy meeting. Oh, should we fucking talk strategy for once? Nah, sure doesn't fucking do that. Seems like an important decision. But no, really. Rin is dead. It's dumb if she's not. Oh, Okay, this seems like kind of a big snackaroo. She's dead. I don't believe you, Wise. If she wasn't meant to die there, and I'm being honest here, if she wasn't meant to die there, they did that all wrong. They perfectly set up that scene as the way for her to die, but go out in her fashion, her snarky fashion, to be like, oh yeah, I'm just totally sleeping. No, she's fucking dead. Fuck you, Wise. I'm gonna pretend she's dead even if she's not, because it's bad writing if she's not dead. That was totally a perfect death scene. You don't have a perfect death scene and then be like, nope, she's actually not dead. Fuck you. Anyways, so actually, so now that Rin's dead, I think, I was planning to go a bit longer today, but, Shiro already let Saber go. I mean, sure. Yeah, and? Doesn't mean you can't spend time with Saber. This is a choice. This is an interesting choice that has a lot of ramifications. Spend time with Saber, go and report to Kuzuki, have a strategy meeting. I feel like a part of me wants to pick this up tomorrow. Like, I could go longer, but, like, I have some nagging thoughts in my mind that I kind of want to nag at. And, you know, it feels like we're not quite at the big burst. We're not at the big bang attack, as it were. And this feels like go longer, nerd. This feels like a good stopping point to me. I feel like this is a good stopping point. That felt like a nice send-off, you know. Rin just died. It really happened. She's dead, thank you. And I feel like it's a good cutting point. I don't know quite how much is left. We're currently nearing the climax. I was like, are we going to finish it today? But I reached a certain point where I'm like, no, we're not going to finish it today. And so I feel like I want to stop here. So I will see you next time for YouTube. See you guys next time. Still don't have an outro phrase. Rin is dead, Wise fool. Fight me. Stop recording.